Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 4th of August 2021, 34 minutes past 5 in the evening. We're in X-Plane 11 and we're back in the ZIBO MOD 737. I can't believe it. I was actually looking back at the last few live streams. It's been a month since I've actually publicly streamed the ZIBO MOD 737. I did the members only group flight 2 weeks ago, and I was actually going to do something in the Builds A310 again, and then maybe the Fearless 747. I thought, you know what, we better go back to ye old faithful, see what ZIBO's been up to, and I've actually been really busy at work flying the 737, so it wouldn't be too much of a challenge, hopefully, to jump back into the ZIBO mod and crack on. I hope you're all doing very well. Today we've got a lovely flight for you. We're in Salzburg, we're in Austria. You can see the beautiful scenery in the background. I finally downloaded a little bit more ortho on my PC, so just for the departure area, I've got all these lovely ortho maps of the beautiful Alps in the distance there. Flying to Manchester today, an airport we have visited before, but this is the first time we've actually done a Vatsim UK midweek madness flight into Manchester, so it's going to be extremely busy. We'll take a little bit of extra fuel to cater for that, and it's going to be great fun to be back on the network on Vatsim. We've been off Vatsim for a while because of the 747 Fearless stream. Wanted to be offline for that, and a few more test sectors to be done in that before we go on the network as well. Tony Flies, hope you're doing well. It says ZIBO for the win. I noticed today we've not had ZIBO for a while, so thanks for choosing it. Exactly what I was thinking, Tony. Look, the channel's based off my experience of being a 737 pilot, so we can't leave it too long without flying a 737 there. Hope you're doing well, Andy H1302. Listerman is here as well. Hope you're doing well, Augie. Hello, Flight Sim. You sound so positive. Always positive, Augie. To be honest, I was walking my dog earlier today, Jack, and I had a nice little sit down. I was looking at the distance, and yeah, life's pretty good now at the moment. Back at work, it's normal times. Very happy at the moment. So thank you very much, Augie, for your positive attitude in the stream as well. Murito in, yes, everyone quoting a very good evening. I can't start a stream without saying that. Hope you're doing well. Anthony Teal, hope you're doing fine. Stateside, Lee Russell and Lee Russell's here too, and Oscar. Awesome stuff. So yes, let's go zoom on here. This scenery I've actually purchased a while back for Salzburg. I think it's from Just Sim. The Manchester scenery is from Aerosoft later as well, so it looked really nice over at Orbix. Historically, these midweek madness events are absolutely ram-packed. It'll be really interesting to see how they'll cope with that in Vatsim. No doubt, well, I can see a little bit of an Alpaca fleet glaring here on the apron in Salzburg. They'll have around, I'd say, a dozen aircraft to deal with coming in from this destination as well. I think we should have some ATC maybe in Austria as well. They're hosting their own Vatsim event, which I think they do every Wednesday anyway. But fella, how many days do you fly before a break? Typically 3 or 4 days. Sometimes it could be less than that. They're rostering some off days at the moment if you want to work them too. At the moment, I want to be doing some streams on my off days, so I turn them down on a couple of recent requests as well. But yeah, absolutely flat out. 110 hours I had from last week to the end of August, so I've got full 5 days coming up this weekend as well. But there we are. Here's our ZIBO MOD 737. This is the latest version available. I think it's 349.16. Word of warning, I haven't had the time at all to complete a test sector. I did check that the scenery was installed correctly both here and Manchester. All the ortho tiles are downloaded are fine. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the worst could happen is at least maybe we can perhaps control the aircraft. I mean, we've had issues in streams in the past here, but I've been led to believe by ZIBO this version is completely fine there. MGS Swan, who is the TU154? They're probably in a 727. I think the CSL model represents a Tupolev if they're in that, but maybe they do have a TU154. Who knows there? Guru KN, well, look who's live. Good day, Captain. Good day to you as well, sir. Let you know as well, fellow streamer V1 Simulations will be streaming in the ZIBO mod 737. That's why I'm streaming a bit earlier today. Oh, where's the airplane gone? There it is. He's going to try out the ZIBO mod. He's an Airbus pilot stateside. He's worthwhile checking out as well. He'll start his stream at 8 o'clock. Hopefully by the time we finish there. Cool, so let's jump on into the aircraft there. Absolutely rammed this apron. Well, thank you so much for joining on this sector. Let's clamber up the stairs here. There we are. Well, oh, look at that Alpaca Airways advert for everyone to watch there. Right, let's turn the music down a little bit there. Andy said I flew it earlier and it was okay, but I'm hardly an expert. We'll see, Andy. We'll see. I'm glad you're flying the ZIBO mod a little more than your favourite evers. Right, let's get some power onto the aircraft. Battery on, GPU on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps are on, landing gear lever is down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights there. I mean, it was less than 24 hours I was actually in a 737, so very likely I'll accidentally blurt out my operator's call sign. So listen out for that, Jal. So I've written in big letters Alpaca on my crib sheet. I always have these issues. Thankfully at work, I have not said on the radio Alpaca. I've been so close so many times. It's been on the edge of my tongue, but I managed to stop myself each time. Jonathan Wiltshire feels sorry for Manchester midweek madness and an alpaca lunch. I've never heard that one. We've had alpaca lips, but I'll take alpaca lunch any day. Fantastic. Oggy would really want to see a real aeroplane again. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you are in the world, sir, but, or madam, I don't know. The flights are all over the place now in Europe available. Unfortunately, the loads are still quite low, about half to two-thirds full, but they're picking up. I hope the airline can make money off it, and I'm just happy to be in a job, if I'm perfectly honest there. Luco, imagine hearing Alpaca as the ATC from some random 737. Oh dear, I know. Right, we've done the initial flow there. Let's do our fault and fire tests. There we are. Squib lights, faults. We have a fault AP detector in op, master caution overheat detector. Let's do the fire test. Three fire lights, engine overheat, wheel well as we have AC power, and the fire bell and the fire warning lights illuminated too. Emergency exit lights armed. Test the attend button. Let's have a quick look at our flight plan. So here is Salzburg in Austria. Expected runway 33 for departure. Routing is going to take us towards, well, just south of Munich, south of Germany here, and then we're going to go just north of Luxembourg, Belgium, across the English Channel, pretty much right over London, onwards to Manchester. Alternate-wise, we've got East Midlands, Birmingham, Liverpool and Leeds. We generated 4 flight plans. Thunderstorms forecast, Prop 30 in Manchester as well. So based off that, plus midweek madness, going to take it 2 tons extra fuel. Okay, we're not messing around today. I mean, if there was thunderstorms, if I was flying into Manchester this evening, I'd probably be taking in the region of 2 tons of fuel because of the thunderstorms they're forecasting, and the SIG weather charts, and there's an air met for thunderstorms, and at the alternates as well. So, having a look at the operational flight plan, we need a minimum of 7.6 tons. 2 tons is around 40 minutes or so. So let's call that 9.6 on the fuel. 9.6. That will do us fine. So fuel, home, payload 9.6, and we're going to take 160 passengers from Salzburg to Manchester. That gives us a payload of 14 tons almost, and that's loaded. Zero fuel weight we're expecting is 57.1. We should load in any second. Can be a bit slow. There we are, 57.1, and we'll call up our Swiss. Yes, ZIBO mentioned that there was some new audio associated with refueling, which is pretty cool, because refueling's, you got to be very careful with. There's a lot of strict rules in different airports around Europe regarding refueling. So in certain situations we actually have to have a headset plugged in outside for pilot monitoring to listen to. We have to have constant eye contact as well. Who just joined as a member? It was Taj Guy. Now I've recognised that name. He's been watching here the streams for a while, so I hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you very much for joining as a member. Glad you enjoy the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord as well. We just had someone else join. That is Peter Satimate. Welcome. Or no, sorry, you've been a member for 2 months. It's renewing there. It comes up now correctly on Streamlabs if it's a new membership or if it's a renewal. So thank you for your 2 months membership. Peter Smate there. Thank you very much. Felix, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for sending me over the 747-200 last stream. He's here in the house. Go check it out. Guys, his channel and my last stream of the 747. He says, I have a little announcement. I will never do aircraft with engines that use EPR's main indication. No thanks. Never again. Oh, Felix, don't even get me started. EPR, get a bit of engines with fat on N1 gauges. That's what you need there. Perfect. Let's carry on with the rest of the setup whilst Jeff gets our aircraft full of fuel. So, working our way down here. Flaps are up, matching up on the indicator position here. We do a config check. That's good. Stab trinket switches are normal. Cargo fire test. 2 green lights, forward aft discharge lights illuminated. Turn up the panel lighting. Probably be coming to sunset by the time we get to Manchester. Rudder and aileron trim is 3 and 0. Manual gear extension doors are closed. Circuit breakers are in. Escape ropes attached to the aircraft. Stall warning test. 1, 2. Mach airspeed warning test. 1, 2. Flight recorder tested. IRS to nav. And the alignment's going to take 8 minutes at this latitude. Circuit breakers are all in. captain side, and we can now start the boarding process. There we are, starting the flight leg. RF21, hello from Malaysia, good day to you. Abbas, oh my god, that landing you put on your Instagram. Ah, yes, so yeah, I reshared and on my Facebook this video that's been doing the rounds on WhatsApp. So yeah, I'm in a few of my colleagues who have WhatsApp groups for the base we're at, so we can chat things. We have one for the instructors as well, and a video I've been sent by several of my friends and colleagues is of this aircraft landing. I think it's in Indonesia somewhere. Someone said it was Paro, I'm not so sure. It's a little bit sketchy. Someone's filming from the jump seat, and this aircraft is completely destabilised. They've got terrain hard warnings, bank angle warnings. This is real, by the way. And then they land pretty much going sideways across the runway. It sounded like they side-loaded the gear or something, doesn't sound right. Best of all, the captain there's a captain sat on the right-hand seat. He's filming it from his mobile phone. I mean, oh no, I mean, Jesus. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm going to be perfectly honest. You wouldn't get away with that in Europe or the US or something like that. I mean, I'm sure those guys and their operator, if they were found out, they're going to lose their jobs. I mean, it was pretty outrageous. I mean, easy to sit and watch, obviously, from the comfort of your office, but yeah, certainly at my operator, if I was to fly an approach like that and have landed off it, I could certainly say goodbye to the left-hand seat. I'll be lucky to keep my job as well. But yeah, hard terrain warning is my operator. If you get an oral pull-up, that's a mandatory terrain escape maneuver. So yeah, there you go. A321 Short, that wasn't a landing, that was an arrival. But yeah, if you want to go check out, I reshared it on my Facebook page. That'll be very, very interesting for you to watch. No doubt that there'll be a lot of videos commenting on that in the future. Right, let's carry on with the rest of the setup. Do we have any ATIS or ATC here? We don't, in fact. There's no ATC, so let's have a look at the latest METAR. I mean, anyone in chat, feel free to bring up the METAR to anyone that's watching and would like to see it. I'm going to use my Aero Weather app on my phone. So Salzburg, refresh. It's raining at the moment, not the nicest day. IMC as well, 8,000 metres rain, few clouds at 600 feet, 15 degrees. QNH is 1014. So QNH is 1014, which is set. I have actually loaded the OPT. I didn't have time to upload a screenshot of the performance here, but the real OPT says for runway 33 via Echo intersection we can take off with full 22k. I'm afraid it's going to be 2411. So not the nicest day in Austria today. Thank you, Gino and Listerman, for grabbing the weather. There you go. It's a great little tool that Nightbot does, fetching the METAR. Perfect. So, yeah, with the wind at 3107, we'll take off from runway 33, which is also the preferred departure runway here in Salzburg. There we go. So QNH we have set. MFRA, the height at which we accelerate in the event of an engine failure, is set as well. We can now load our flight management computer. So this departure has something called a special engine out SID because of the amount of terrain around. So in the event of an engine failure, you can't just climb straight ahead. You have to fly a specific routing. I mean, obviously for runway 33, that's far more preferred for departure because there's no terrain in that direction. But if you look in this direction, if you have an engine failure, you've got to really make an expeditious turn away from the terrain here. So we have specific procedures to fly. I might do a tutorial on that, which would be quite interesting. I'm sure you guys like to see that. But for runway 33, they still have a special engine out SID for my operator based on the fact there's terrain around, so you have to fly a specific routing. We'll discuss that shortly. So FMC, latest U14 software is installed. That was updated by ZIBO a month or so ago. We are in Salzburg, which is Lima Oscar Whiskey Sierra. GPS left. Flying to Manchester, Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Call sign today is Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. And we're going to be departing off runway 33. Departure is going to be the Traun 7 Sierra. I think that's how it's pronounced. No transition for us. From Traun, Lima 856 to Kilo Papa Tanky.
Fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Amazing, thank you. That's a really nice touch by ZIBO adding that. I know he credited someone for recording the audio too. But yeah, it's quite important that call actually, because one of the things we do as soon as the fueling's complete is put the seatbelt sign on prior to that, whilst the aircraft is refueling, you must not fasten your seatbelts, because if there's a fire, we need to evacuate, we don't want you strapped in. So as soon as the fuel is complete, put the seatbelt sign on, and then we want you to put your seatbelts on for departure. So from Cunard, direct to Lersu, direct to Dnut. Lima 610 to Lambourne. From Lambourne up November 57 to Welling. From Welling, it's Tango 420 Trent. And then it's a Dane to Alpha. All very familiar. Dane to Alpha. I think they're using 2-3. 2-3 is preferred. And I'll put 2-3 right for now. Won't be the Manchester transition. It'll be Vectors after Dane. So Dane, just direct to centre fix. That's fine for us now. Happy with that. So I'll activate that, execute, and distance check. We don't have that yet. So index performance. So 0 fuel weight, 57 tonnes. Reserves for our first alternate East Midlands. So I've generated 4 alternates. The format's exactly the same as my operator. Usually my operator, it plans for the alternates based on the least amount of extra fuel, because it's trying to be economical. But if we want to take fuel for a further alternate, we just simply cross out the ones, we just simply take the alternate fuel for the alternate we want. It's no problem at all. So yeah, our commercial alternate, let's say C1 for Alpaca Airways, is East Midlands. So checking here, reserve sum is 2.3. Cost index we'll use 30 in Alpaca Airways, 36,000 feet. Top climb wind, there we go, is 223 at 66. Steep descent after Dane, we'll look at that later. And the average wind is 246 at 31, so route data, first waypoint after top of climb. 246 at 31. That gives us a far more accurate ETA and fuel on arrival on the ground. That's done. Top of climb ISA is 5 degrees. Execute it. It will do that every time you change or execute something. It'll come up with the message steep descent. So as I mentioned, we can take full 22k, 15 degrees, and the V speeds on the real OPT are wet speeds of 33, 41, 46. So we go wet speeds, flat 5. So 33, 41, 46, 34, 41, 47, all within a knot, so we can execute those speeds. CG 20.2 at 6 units of trim. So there we are, 6 units of trim set. So the FMC's loaded and the performance complete. Let's have a look at some of the questions here.
50, 40,
oh, Jonathan.
30, 20.
My goodness, thank you very much for the £25. Very generous. Let's see who we've got today. Microsoft Jeanette, probably.
Passed my Vatsim UK ground exam at the weekend at Edinburgh later this evening and wondering if midweek madness was a good night to pick. Al, inspired by your streams and community, so big thank you for getting me into it.
Oh, Jonathan Wiltshire, thank you very much for the £25. That's a very generous donation. That's very kind of you, sir. Amazing, and I'm so pleased that it was the content for the channel that inspired you to do some Vatsim controlling. Very, very cool. And maybe we'll have you later. So you had your Vatsim ground exam at Edinburgh, and wondering if midweek madness was a good night to pick. Yeah, probably going to be very busy. And Manchester taxiing is a bit complex there. I say it's complex. Every time I've been to Manchester in the past, I've always gotten a bit lost and had to take my time, make sure we go in the right way there. So very, very cool. Thank you, Jonathan Wiltshire, for your generosity there, and well done for becoming a Vatsim controller. Excellent. Let's have a look at some of the other questions here. Andy, same fuel guy, was in Bilbao earlier. He didn't half get around. Very good. Gino, SimBrief has given me the Inron 1 Sierra departure for runway 33. I noticed on your OFP you're using a different one. Gino, as a member, I always post the operational flight plans in Discord in the live stream channel prior to a stream, so you guys can have the same flight plan. On SimBrief, it was the second generated flight plan, because the first one was a little bit around the block. It was around an extra 80 track miles going quite far north, and actually coming into Manchester from the northeast, it was was a bit of a yeah, around the block flight plan, so I changed it there slightly. You guys reckon 2-3 left into Manchester? No problem. We'll plan for 2-3 right. Usually what we do at this stage, whilst we're still on the ground, we put in whatever we have off the operational flight plan. So 2-3 right, we can simply change it to 2-3 left during the approach setup briefing there. Anthony also inspired Juliet Roberts to begin dating a pilot. Unbelievable. Yes, my fascination with Julia Roberts just never ceases. Thank goodness Mariana's not around. Right, so what have we done? Let's look on here in the overhead panel. So flight control switches, spoilers are on, alternate flap guard switch is down, yaw dampers on, nav transfer display switches are normal auto, fuel 4 pumps on, and we've got 1700 kilos in the centre. Check the cross feed valve, bright, dim, bright, off. There we are, cabin utility IV galley powers on, IGG disconnect switches are closed. I'll get the APU started now because we'll be pushing back hopefully in the next 5 minutes. Turn up the panel lighting here. Oh, it's just nice to be back in the ZIBO mod. Emergency exit lights armed, seatbelt signs on, window heats can come on, probe heats auto, electric hydraulic pumps are on, voice recorders on, trim air's on, packs auto. We're cruising at 36,000 feet. What's the elevation in Manchester? Well, I say Manchester today. It should be the same as it always has been. Elevation is 257 feet, so 250 for the land out. There we are. That should be on to steady. Flight director's on, master's on, pilot flying side, which will be myself. Turn up the panel lighting. So let's have a look at the charts here. So runway QDM in Salzburg is... Oh, I didn't select the airport chart here. There we are, so runway 33, it is all the threes, 333. And we'll just set the courses to the same for now. 333, and our departure is the Tround 7 Sierra. So runway 33, climb straight ahead until you're 12 miles from Salzburg. There's no AT... Oh no, we do have ATC now, so we'll need to get a clearance. So 8-1 will set. It says climb straight ahead until we're 12 miles away from Salzburg VOR. So the VOR is all the way from here, but the initial turn's based off being 12 miles from that point, which is around there. So 12 DME, 13.8. So we'll tune up 13.8. Oh, look at that. It's actually already active. Salzburg NDB. So if the Salzburg DME is not available, you can use a Sierra India for your turn there. So 410. Andrew Armstrong, thank you very much for your 2 months as a member. Thank you for the continued support, buddy. Hope you're doing very well. There we are. So we've got the Sierra India ADF, so we can actually put that active, and then it's going to be a left turn, track 300 outbound on the QDR from the Salzburg NDB until we get to Tround. On the Tround waypoint, we'll intercept the 259 radial, Salzburg bearing Sierra, and intercept radials 259 from Salzburg to Tround. Tround's at a distance of 12.4, so 259, we'll put that active on my side. There we are, it's all backed up. A 4-hour sit there, very good. Sweaty Mac 91776. Have you tried Microsoft Flight Simulator? I have installed. From what I understand, SimWorld Update 5 has been very much tailored around the Xbox release, and it's completely broken it for PC users. Well, just for the sort of flying I do, and most of you guys do, which is on Vatsim. I understand you can't really use it on Vatsim at the moment because there's altimeters all incorrect as well and things like that. I was thinking about maybe having a fun community stream again soon, because I know they have seaplanes now and nice seaplane effects as well, or perhaps wait for an update. Is the DC-6 working, guys, with the new update? Because I'd like to fly that again as well. I had a plan for a 2-sector day in the DC-6, but yeah, I'll wait on some feedback as to whether that's all working correctly. So SID we've briefed, MCP is set, auto brake to RTO, reset the fuel flow, cage the standby, artificial horizon, FMS is set, frequencies we've tuned. There we are. So what was the stop altitude again? 8,000, I think. Yes, initial climb clearance is 8,000 feet. Right, we have ATC here, so we'll try and get our clearance. We have tower online, 118.1. I'll make that active. Just get the AP on the bus, and disconnect the grabber, which is automatic on this stand here. Before I forget, so let's retrack the airstairs, close the doors, boarding's complete.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, Salzburg Tower, hello, I'll call you back here, aircraft behind.
I'll get
Tomjet,
bit of pushback organised. So, interesting, actually, I'm not sure which way we'll be pushing here. We'll connect first.
Ground to cockpit, 2 is driving up.
Excellent.
Calling confirm, call send Tomjet 5 Kilo X-ray.
Sounds Austrian.
Tomjet 5
Andrea, the DC-6 is working fine. Very good.
Oh, Roger, I don't have a 5 X-ray kilo in my departure list.
Western Eichner, how are your numbers on the autopilot different? My ZIBO mod has a completely different autopilot. So the latest version has the 2 options of the MCP available on the NG. The Honeywell MCP, which is this one, and the Collins MCP. You can change that in the settings.
Salzburg Tower, hello, are you able to stay clear of the Alpaca behind you when you push?
Yes, if I can taxi slightly onto the entry taxiway, then I can stay there.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Superb. Lovely DC-3 there, look, Austrian Airlines. So it's going to get busy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 departures, probably all wanted to go at once here. IF21 ETA to Manchester, very much dependent on what time we get airport. Flight times around 1:55. He got a different SID. We might get a different SID here.
Thank you. Clear to maintain frequency to Alpha. Departure, initial climb 6,000 feet and squawk 4660.
So I actually think he's got the default Simproof flight plan.
5 Kilo X-ray.
Oops, forgot to set V2, 147.
Good evening, this is Alpaca 105, requesting taxi to the runway, please.
Alpaca 105, taxi holding point, runway 33.
Daniel, there's a lot of planes, yes. Blind aviator, this has probably been covered many times. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to exit on a high-speed taxi after landing? 45 knots is really the sort of maximum. Some have approval for 60, but 45 is the speed.
Company Airbus A319 behind you inside.
If primitive Alpaca 738.
Who's in a
319? Behind the company A319.
Look at the Alpaca Airways fleet everywhere.
Push start approved, face Alpaca 738.
Trying to get in there, guys.
To go heavy, Airbus 310. Information Papa request for clearance to Manchester, please.
Brandon, most of Flight Simulator Live is pretty broken for me, plus CRJ is completely broken with SU5. Yeah, that might be a concern for developers, because every time they push out an update, I know it's causing issues for
in room 1 after departure, 23,
it's causing issues for people on the sim. And Kelly's, how old are you? Very early 30s.
4653.
Tower, hello, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey. We're on stand Whiskey 8, departure clearance to Manchester.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, Salzburg Tower, hello. Information Papa is currently cleared to Manchester via Traun to Alpha departure. Initial climb 8,000 feet, squawk 4656.
Cleared to Manchester on the Traun to Alpha departure, climb 8,000 feet, squawk 4654, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, and request push and start.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, squawk 4656.
4656, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, read back correct, start and push approved, facing south.
Push start approved, face south, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey. That's what we've got to do, but we've got a slightly different SID though as well, so... here comes the brush look. 4656. Packs off. Anti-collision light is on. Parking brake is set. Transponder to out off.
6-7 Tango Echo, call you back here.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Facing south will be in this direction. Going to be blocking everyone.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Perfect. Parking brake released. What we would do in real life is wait until we select the new SID.
Starting pushback and you may start engines.
So runway 33 and it's now Traun 7 Alpha.
Runway 33, clear for takeoff, Alpaca 105.
2 Alpha, sorry, not 7 Alpha. 2 Alpha. So I'll execute that. Let's have a look at the differences.
76 Alpha Foxtrot, information Papa current, you're cleared Manchester via Traun 2 Alpha departure. Initial
So
climb
it's
8,000
pretty much the same, it's just an earlier left turn. So 8,000 feet, squawks in, Traun 2 Alpha. So in this case, it's climb on 334, track to Whiskey Sierra 610. Whiskey Sierra 610. And then Whiskey Sierra 616, 616, and then Traun. 5,000, 7,000 checks. Then after Traun, we'll go to our first waypoint en route, which is Athlone, which is executed. 8,000 feet is our stop altitude. And that's executed as well. Steep descent after Dane. Right, starting engine number 2. So this is sort of like the RNAV sid, the other one was a little bit more conventional based.
Easy 76 Alpha Foxtrot, call you back. Aircraft.
Ed 2. Phasian, was this scheduled? I missed it entirely yet. This one was a bit of a short notice stream. It's just because it's going to be like it was before, guys, before the pandemic. So just streaming when I get a chance. I'm very busy, not only at work but outside of work. You know, your usual life goes on normally. So yeah, I will try and publish on social media before where I can.
Alpaca 756, information Papa correct, you're cleared Manchester via in-ROM 1 Alpha departure, initial climb 6,000.
So starting it out, monitoring engine number 2, 2463, 2 stable, starting engine number 1.
Operation complete. Please set parking brake.
Parking brake set. Ed 2.
Disconnect and tow. Stand by.
Thomas, awesome content cap. Glad I found your channel. Thank you very much, Thomas. Welcome.
Alpaca 756, you're cleared to Manchester via in-ROM 1 Alpha departure, initial climb 6,000 feet.
Oil pressure.
4006.
N1. I know one thing I haven't discussed, which is the engine out SID. I'll look at that in a second. So spar valve, dim to brighten off. Thank you, Brandon.
Alpaca 105, contact Salzburg, radar 123.725. Enjoy your flight. Bye-bye.
Radar at 123.725, Alpaca 105. Bye.
It's on standby. Starting out, monitoring engine number 1, 2, 4, 6, 3. 1 is stable.
Alpaca 7, Mike, say again.
So generators on, APU off, we do straight away, we just need to wait for the bypass
Roll
pin.
is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight. Servus.
Thank goodness we got out just in time. Right, just for the sake of Vatsim, we're going to carry on with the before taxi flight. Stars to continuous appropriate on NTIs, could be off for now. Packs auto, fire station valve auto, APU bleed is off. Flaps 25, flight controls. Full forward, back, left, and right. Here comes the rudders. Full right and full left. Recall, blank the lower DU. And we've seen the pin. We can now request taxi. Oh, we just took a printer on accidentally.
Holding point runway 33 via exit 4 and Lima QNH 1014. Follow the company 737-800.
Everyone's queuing behind me.
737 taxi to holding point runway 33 via Mike and exit 4 and Lima. Alpaca 1 check.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey request taxi.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey taxi holding point runway 33 via exit 4 and Lima QNH 1014.
Taxi hold point runway 33 via exit 4 Lima QNH 1014 Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Perfect, so we've got our clearance.
Alpaca 73 ready for taxi.
Lights are on, parking brake release, here comes the config check. Obviously check clear left, clear right. God, I'm so used to the real 7.3 now, the engines spool up far too quickly in the mod at lower thrust settings, but that's a sort of a compromise you have to take in the mod, it's a bit of a limitation in X-Plane's N1 thrust curve. When you're at ground idle 20% and you set 40%, takes around 7-8 seconds the engine to spool up to 40%. Once you're above 40%, the engine spool up very quickly. Ooh, an EasyJet Airbus. A321, that's a funny pace. Right, so yeah, we didn't talk about what we do in the event of an engine failure. So for this departure, even on runway 33, there's no terrain. There is a special engine out SID. So if the engine was to fail, we can't just climb straight ahead. We actually would go towards the Salzburg NDBs, which is Sierra Bravo Golf, a different NDB, and then we make a right turn to the Salzburg VOR to hold.
Good evening, fraction 303 Alpha, request IFR to
It's
Hamburg.
loud.
Section 303
yeah, that's
Alpha, Salzburg Tower, Servos information, Papa current.
There we are. That's a little bit better with ATC. So do the before takeoff checklist now. So config, we checked flaps. We have 5 green lights, stab trim set for departure, 6 units set, takeoff briefing. We have packs order bleeds on, V speed set, 34, 41, 47 set, and no V speeds indicated on the PFD. The departure now is the Tround 2 Alpha. Tround 2 Alpha, climbing straight ahead to Whiskey Sierra 610, then a left turn inbound to Tround. Stop altitude is 8,000 feet, which is set twice. NADP2, any problems will climb straight ahead on that engine outspeed, which is to initially fly to the Salzburg ADF, oh, sorry, NDB, and then to the Salzburg VOR to hold. That's it, checks complete. We can actually depart from here. We've got the performance, we'll go full length. Just wait for the cabin to be secure.
Call you back in a minute, still there. Fine.
And on Tower Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, we're ready for departure.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, wind 310 degrees, 7 knots, runway 33, clear for takeoff.
Runway 33, cleared takeoff, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Right, we're cleared takeoff, so we'll do a rolling departure. We'll get your tokens in chat now. Let's roll on. So MCP is set, transponder, TARA, strobe lights are on, landing lights are on, weather radar is on, checks complete.
Okay, 367 for Bravo was just about to call you affirmative behind the company E310. E310 push and start is approved. Basic south.
Let's have a look there. Oh look, everyone got stuck behind. Bye everyone. Bye bye. Don't forget the time. I won't room bush. Generally in the ZIBO mod, I don't forget it as much as I do in other aircraft. We leave the carnage behind. Timing. So I'd already have stood the thrust levers up in real life to 40% by this point because it takes a while to spool up. We'll do it now.
And I mean the person who's pushing right into us now from the opposite direction.
There we are, engines are all stabilised, push toga, set takeoff thrust. There we are, takeoff thrust set, 90.5, indication stall. Checked, release forward pressure. Hand off the thrust lever. Up we go. 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. And we're airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. And onto the flight directors. And trim. Beautiful. All those clouds look mean, but nothing on the weather radar at least.
Alpaca 73, ready for departure and sequence.
1000.
And bug up.
And Alpaca 12 Echo will be ready for departure and sequence as well.
Flaps 1.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, contact Salzburg radar 123-7725 at rear line.
123725, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, bye. That was close. Flaps up. Speed check, flaps up. You hear the rain on the windscreen, that's very realistic, but nothing on the weather radar return. The TAT's 18 degrees, so don't need engine anti-ice. There we are. Command A. All contact departures. Almost. Departures, hello, it's Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey on the Tround 2 Alpha, passing 4,500 for 8,000.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, identified climb level 120.
Climb level 120, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So, 120 checked, set standard, VNAV, passing 54 for flight level 120. Smash the heading. After takeoff checklist coming up. So gears off, water brakes off, temperature 14 degrees, start switches come off as well. Air conditioning and pressurization, diff pressure 2.0 almost climbing. Coming out just where we want it. Auto, bleeds are on, all in auto. AUT, air conditioning pressurization set. Yeah, I think I can't say anything on my weather radar. Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, thank you. Could be my active sky settings aren't as sensitive. I might have to turn that CB thing on. I'll turn that on, I think, it's more realistic. Altimeter standard set, passing 70, flight level 120. Crew release, there we are. I'll have to take off checks complete. Let me just check my active sky settings. So I think I've got the CB off mode on, so let me just check my cloud options. Prevent thunderstorms. No, that's off, so prevent thunderstorms when... Oh no, I've done the day one line training error. Forget to delete the restriction in the FMS. That's what you do on day one line training. There we are. Yeah, active sky settings does say... No, it's unticked. Prevent thunderstorms when CB reported. That's unticked, so we should be getting CBs on the weather radar. When checked. 132550, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, bye. Yeah, so that's unticked, so we should be getting thunderstorms up here if CB is depicted. Oh, that's the EGCC a little bit of turbulence as well, but no weather on our display, all looking good. Mooch and good arm to Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, climb flight level 120, inbound drawn.
Hello, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, identify. Climb flight level 250.
Climb flight level 250, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. 250 checks, and altimeter is passing 105 for 250, pre-crease check, so fuel 6 pumps. Wings are balanced, got a ton in the centre. Lights coming off. APU off, pressurisation, diff 3.2, and set, seatbelts really on recall, Monitor 1215, and we'd also log into CPDLC at this stage, but that is not currently modelled in the ZIBO mod, and hopefully it will be in the not too distant future. So in the A310, that is such a cool feature.
Flight level 240, and when ready, descend flight level 310.
Well, on our way, guys. That was actually a really lucky... we just managed to get out early, just ahead of all of our colleagues. We could have been on the ground still easily. Andre, I also almost made you spit the water I was drinking. Jill, did you activate the weather? Yes, weather radar is on. Weather A. It's not quite the same system we use, but... it's not picking up anything at least, but different simulators have different ways of depicting weather, so it could be something there that's not available on our screen. But on active sky, it'll only depict thunderstorms if a METAR says CB or TS. It has a setting on active sky where you can prevent thunderstorms being generated if CB's there, but I have that currently unticked, so CB's will appear as cells. Andy, if ZIBO manages to put CPDLC in this, not one pay where Dev will have an excuse not to. Guess so. Direct to Cunard, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. There we are. Execute, nice little shortcut, look. Boom. All that lovely ortho I downloaded, spending a couple of hours. And it's only for the initial departure routine, the rest is default scenery, thank goodness. Not that you'd see much today. Dreamless weather radars aren't fully functional, explain. Yeah, I agree, there are some that do some sort of depiction of weather, but it's automatically generated. The way it generates thunderstorms isn't that realistic, it just has sort of blobs randomly placed and they're all the same size. In reality they're very dynamic. Different sizes as well. On my Instagram story I put some cool pictures of some thunderstorms. Went to Venice a few days ago, and Barcelona there was a lot of diversions from Barcelona and the Barcelona area, and we were very lucky because the cell was just about 30-40 miles away, but it was huge. Hadn't seen a thunderstorm that big for quite a while. Caused a lot of disruption in Barcelona. Treddy, what clouds are you using? These
5 Mike Whiskey, cloud flight level 320.
Flight level 320, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. These are active skies.
Alpaca 738, flight level 120.
These are active skies, high quality textured clouds.
Flight level 300.
Flight level 300.
B number 1, have you looked at the only 737 mod on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? Curious what you think. Never heard of that one, but obviously be interested to see.
21 ready, set now, flight level 240 to reach at Aspen.
Flight level 240 via spots,
Head to FTW for the win, I guess. When setting the altitude, is pressing flight level change, then VNAV work for resetting the FMS altitude? Not quite how it works. So incline, VNAV and level change are behaving in pretty much the same way. Incline VNAV speed is just climbing or pitching for the speed, the target speed based off your cost index or other information like your wind. So 292. Level change is exactly the same, except I've just brought the speed there and I can change the speed by rotating it. The thrust is the same, N1, it's just pitching for that speed. If you want to delete restrictions in the FMC, you need to push the outed event button, outed event, and that will delete it, or you can press delete and then line select key the restriction.
5 kilo X-ray, proceed direct inbed. Direct inbed, don't jet 5 kilo X-ray.
Hello, GJ, says how are you? Very well, thank you. Mark Drinnen, hello Flight Data Sim, I hope you're well. What are your thoughts on that Lama 737 classic crash landing that's been floating around social media today? I reshared it on my Flight Data Sim Facebook page, Mark, yeah. We briefly discussed it during the setup there. Very interesting. As we were mentioning, if we pulled a stunt like that at my operator, you can kiss goodbye to your job. You know, it's obviously a very challenging approach there, but as I was mentioning straight away at the start of the video, they're banking well in excess of 35 degrees with terrain either side. They get a hard terrain warning. Again, different operators might have different rules, but at my operator, a hard terrain warning. So the oral, if you ever have the EGPWS shouting at you, pull up, that is a terrain escape manoeuvre, mandatory. So that's blurting at them for the entire approach. Then they're far too right of the centre line, and he sort of lands sideways on the runway. Yeah, really putting a lot of side load into the main gear. Yeah, you won't get away with something like that in the US or Europe, I'd say. But yeah, the funniest thing I found was the captain on the right-hand seat. After you landed, you could see he was filming on his mobile phone. It was just outrageous. Yeah, interesting. It'd be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Direct to desk, kind of monsters, right? Thanks.
Hello Mohammed, he says when doing an NADP2 departure, do you pass the clock at 800 or 3,000 feet? So what you need to do, Mohammed, on an NADP2 departure is we bug up at 1,000 feet above ground level. This is why CPDLC on Vatsim would be great, because I can turn the volume down so I can talk on you guys. You need to know your elevation. So if your elevation is 800 feet, and ADP is 1,000 feet AGL, so that means you accelerate at 1,800 feet. So it's based off your elevation as to when to bug up. It's always based above the aerodrome elevation. Carl, do you think there's much left to improve on the ZIBO? It's one of the most complete 737 add-ons there is. For completing a flight from ATB, I mean, I've just done 5 days flying. This is my first day off, and I've just come off here, and everything I do at work, I do it identically in this aircraft. It's the same. I can't really differentiate the performance, the handling. You know, inverted brackets. You know, it's very good in comparison to well, you know, if you compare it to the real aircraft, the inputs you make are spot on. So yeah, not much to be left. It's just those quirky things with the FMC and the automation, but it's very, very good. Hello Pikey Mikey, what's your thoughts of VR using the ZIBO? Never tried VR with the ZIBO mod. I've heard it is incredibly good and very you know, realistic with the sensations, and just make you feel like you're sat there. I'm not a fan of VR personally, just because I've tried it a few times, always makes me feel quite disorientated, if I'm honest. Yeah, I know some of the members really are a fan of using VR. Hello Adam, will ZIBO add the new engine start lever as a new parking brake in a future update? Not sure if that's anything in the short or long term. Brandon, have you ever flown with an FO as watched your YouTube channel? Yes. Several times. So I confirm cleared flight level Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey.
Flight level 360.
Flight level 360 Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So set 360 and that is set once, twice, 3 times, and we're monitoring 115. That's our final cruise level. Ah yes, there's no more phone, but can't really see it in the ground today.
Flight level 134 for flight level 160.
The 85 Romeo Juliet, hello, you identify flight level 300.
300 for EZA flight level 2.
Dreamless, you guys, you're not using secondary flight plans as 737, I believe it's a lacking feature in the ZIBO. Yep, we are missing Route 2, and it's something that would be quite cool if it was added. We use Route 2 for the return sector. We typically do 2-4 sectors, so when you're flying inbound to the airport, PM is off for entering the route, the next routing in the FMS, so after we've touched down he can simply load it and activate it, so it saves a little bit of time on that turnaround. Carl Longley, is there a ZIBO 737-600? No, it's just the 800NG. There is something called Level Up. Is it Level Up? A team that are building something based off the ZIBO mod, but I'm not involved with that. I just directly work with ZIBO, providing feedback. Calvin Calhoun Jr. using any mods in the cockpit textures? Nope, this is the default ZIBO mod 737, the same one that you download from the Explain forum.
Alpaca 12 Echo, climb level 380. Level 380.
PED 2 for the win. For learning flows, would you say a simulator is better or worse than the old school poster? So if you can get yourself in what we used to call a cardboard, well, what we call a cardboard cutout or cardboard bomber. That's what we call the cardboard cutout of the aircraft. That would be quite helpful because it sort of gives you that in the real aircraft where you actually want to put your head. You know, where do I need to physically put my arm to find that switch? So those cardboard bombers, cardboard cutouts for type ratings, I'd say for learning flows is probably a little bit better than desktop simulators. A desktop simulator is very good though in seeing how when you move a switch what actually happens. So I know a lot of cadets, myself included, when I was learning, utilised flight sims to help with our performance. So here's a little bit of weather that's been depicted by the weather radar here. So looking at this weather, it's not on our route, however we're kind of getting within 30-40 miles, and if you look at the wind, we're actually downwind of that cell. That means you might get a little bit of turbulence from that. Now in reality, we keep a close eye on that, see how close we're getting. If they're reporting turbulence on routing, we might take a little bit of a wider berth, but obviously don't want to fly through it, and ideally if you want to go past weather, you want to stay upwind of it as well. But we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens, and we'll go from there. Right now over Europe, I don't know what it is. What it is, last 2 to 3 weeks, there's been so many thunderstorms everywhere. Thunderstorms in Spain, Barcelona, northern Italy. Well, there's always been thunderstorms in northern Italy, Alps. UK, loads of thunderstorms around the UK at the moment. I don't know if it's global warming, but much more in the last 10 years I've noticed. So many more thunderstorms now than there was.
Direct Aspat, San Aspects 2028. EV85 Romeo Juliet, proceed direct Kunot.
John, how long have you been flying for sim or in real life? I've been simming since I was a teenager, so we're talking 20 years. I've been flying the 737 nearly for 10 years now.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, climb flight level 300. Climb flight level 300, Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo.
Johannes, will you be flying to Slovenia in the near future, more specifically to Maribor Airport with no traffic, 2,500 metre runway? No, I have not ever been to Slovenia, Johannes, I'm afraid.
177, call Bremen, 123.
Actually, it's called summer, fella. Well, you in the United States, you have bigger storms than we have in Europe, but we don't have storms all the time. It seems to be thunderstorms all the time.
And, Radar, hello, Alpaca 67 Tango Echo, passing flight level 100.
Around the US has been so many ground stops due to weather in July. It's calmed down now, but I'm going to do the best. Yeah, it's I don't know. Just if I compare to other summers in the past, I think every day I've had to take extra fuel for en route weather.
300, climb flight level 340.
I've been lucky, haven't diverted yet. I had to hold for about 20 minutes last week though to wait for us to go over the destination.
Alpaca 105, monitor Unicom, good evening.
Monitor Unicom, good evening.
During thunderstorms get a lot higher nowadays as well, and go up to flight level 450 under citation over the last few weeks. We've been avoiding quite a lot too. Whereabouts are you flying, Duraj? Because yeah, I mean in Europe there's a lot of weather avoidance to do in the last 2 weeks. Very unstable air everywhere. But it's places where it was usually sort of guaranteed sunny weather all the time. So yeah, thankfully, you know, we always check these things prior to departure.
1,000 to go.
Alpaca 76 Tango Echo, proceed direct gas car, Golf Alpha Sierra Kilo Alpha.
Direct gas car, Golf Alpha Sierra Kilo Alpha, Alpaca 67 Tango Echo.
Sorry guys, I just was having a quick chat with Marietta. She's just going upstairs, not feeling well today.
76 Alpha Foxtrot, climb flight level 300.
Mohammed, what is the Alpaca Airlines ICAO? Well, VCP would that be IATA? I don't know.
Hello, Tomjet 91 Alpha Lima again. Climb flight level 3.
There we are. Flight level 360. Always worthwhile when levelling off. Have a quick look at the overhead panel. Make sure the aircraft's nicely pressurised. Ooh, looking good. MCPs as we like it. LNAV, VNAV typically. And then usually with weather radar, this is an auto tilt function, but on our summer the NGs you want to make sure you've got the tilt pointing slightly down and having a good scan of the weather. Obviously we're aware of that weather just near, I think, is that Stuttgart EDDS? Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, just be wary of that. Looks like someone's being brave going straight through it. But I'm happy with that. They won't simulate in the sim turbulence downwind here. Is that it here? Not sure. Cool. Kieran, thank you. IATA's VC, IK's VCP. There you go. Flashback Gaming and Filming, what airline do you fly for? A perfectly natural question to ask. It's something I don't disclose. My operator is well aware that I do stream, and I just choose not to say who it is, as just to avoid conversation about it. Not that I want to have anything bad to say, because I have nothing at all. I'm very happy where I work, very lucky to have kept my job as well in the pandemic. But yeah, it's just to avoid conversation. I appreciate your understanding. Robin Klein, it's Stuttgart, my home airport. We have done a stream into Stuttgart before. Can't see it today though. It is very cloudy. Oh no, Master Caution fuel. Just listening. Actually, that's the only Mr. Caution we usually see. Actually, I had to dispatch an aircraft the other day. The Discord members will know because we were discussing it with one of the fuel pumps inoperative. So the MEL allows you to dispatch with one of the tank pumps inoperative forward or aft, but you have to ensure that you have a minimum amount of fuel in the tank, so your reserves are increased essentially, because you need to have a certain amount of unusable fuel, and that's to ensure that the fuel pump, the remaining fuel pump, is always submerged under the tank there, because with certain high attitudes for takeoff and go around, the fuel pump might not be able to receive any fuel. Now the aircraft is capable of suction feeding. It's fine. It won't, you know, if you were to turn both those pumps off now, the engine won't shut down. But at high altitudes like this, you know, you might get a little bit of air pocketing in the fuel lines, and the engines could thrust could deteriorate. So you you want to have at least one pump on.
Section 303 Alpha low unit. My transat level is 300.
Flight level 300.
But it's pronounced more like Stuttgart. There you go.
Hotel 5 Mike Whiskey, monitor Unicom, good evening.
Unicom, 5 Mike Whiskey, bye. There we are. Over to Unicom. That is now active. And we'll see what ATC we get later on. I should think it'll be very busy. In fact, I'm going to have a little look at the Vatsim map and count the amount of arrivals they're expecting into Manchester. Our ETA, based on our flight plan, is having us landing at 19:01, so that is just a little under an hour and a half from now. Let's have a look here. Manchester. Has the event even started? Manchester has 45 arrivals. Okay. Busy, but not quite as busy as I've seen these events go. I think on one of the events we had nearly 100 and we managed to get in eventually. Captain ACQ, can we see the exterior? Of course you can, sir. Let's do a quick fuel check though, as we're overhead Cunard here. Top of climb, we want to be making a note of the fuel and our time and progress. So we get rid of the Salzburg charts. Is our flight plan. And where are you? Cunard. There we are. So Cunard, we should be here 26 minutes into the flight. Let's have a look at the clock. 23 minutes, so 3 minutes ahead of schedule. Remember, we've got that lovely shortcut from ATC, so that'll be why. We should have at least 5.5 tons on board. We have 7.8, so remember that extra fuel we took. 5.5, so 6.5, 7.5, that's 2.3 tons, nearly an hour extra. We should have burnt 2 tons of fuel. We have used, what's that, 1900 kilos, so we saved the fuel. The fuel burn in this is pretty much exactly the same as the real 737 and the expected fuel savings as well. This is why I love the mod so much. Exterior view coming up then. Let's just turn the sound down, otherwise you'll be deafened. There we are, Alpaca Airways. Turn a little bit of music on as well. Lovely. It's been a while since we've flown the ZIBO mod. I'm so happy to have actually chosen to fly this aircraft again. I mean, this channel was mostly built off this aircraft. I still love the shape of the 737. Flashbang Gaming, how did you get from not being able to fly to being an airline pilot? So, finished school when I was 18, sold chickens for 3 years, saved as much money as I could, took a loan out, started my flight training when I was 19 years old, finished in my late 20s, and I was very fortunate to land a job on the right-hand seat. And I've had the same job since, 10 years, skipper on the 737. Carl, have you flown the Max on stream yet? No, I've not flown the Max. There's some dodgy Max copyrighted cracked version out there, which I'm never going to use. But I'm hoping by the end of the year to have flown a Max for real. Yes, we have the Max. I have Max orders at my operator, and I've done the conversion training in the sim. And yeah, hopefully I'd love to fly one. I've spoken to colleagues who have flown it, say it's amazing. The LEAP engines are a big improvement on the CFM, so much quieter. You know, the NG has a tendency when you change thrust, especially in descent, when you know the thrust lever's retard, there's a lot of vibration and shaking. I mean, not a lot of vibration, but you notice it. Apparently in the Max it's very smooth. So yeah, looking forward to it. Hello, Rajadira Alfarrell, sorry if I've mispronounced that, sir. How was the load factor in your airline? Recently flew Singapore Airlines A350 with 19 passengers. Whoops. Yeah, better. Not pre-pandemic levels. Usually at my operator we'd have load factors in excess of 90%. We were actually looking at it, I was showing to the members, I can't remember what the figure was. I did share with them because on my logbook I can record the amount of passengers. But it's in the region, it varies depending on where I'm going, and there's certain restrictions for different countries, but I'd say on average slightly more than half full now. I've had some almost full flights. The most I've carried this year is about 160, 170. But yesterday I flew to Northern Italy. I went to destination Northern Italy, and we had 100 there and about 70 on the way back, I think, booked. So it was actually slightly less than that. But for this week, yeah, been between 50 and 150 the last week. Aaron, what was the max like to fly in the sim? Aaron, exactly the same as the NG. Really couldn't tell the difference. The big thing you noticed was the engines. Idle on the ground. There's a lot of residual thrust, so to taxi you don't really need to add thrust. You just release the brakes, it starts moving on its own. But that's the whole idea behind the Max. It's meant to feel like the NG, so you don't have to do a full type rating. Obviously Boeing, as we all well know, have been held to account for a lot of issues that they had with the Max, but I'm confident and looking forward to flying the aircraft. We had throughout the transition training a lot of exposure to MCAS and how it won't do what it did before. It can now be overridden at any time by us. If it does, it is there, but it can be overridden now. So yeah, looking forward to flying it again. I need to complete my, we've got a fantastic document for my operator. It's like a field differences course and training. So when I get rostered to fly, I'll need to review all of that again. So it's been 4 months now since, or 3 months since I did that conversion. It was just a sim session. Barone, the NG Max same type rating? They are. Flashbang, so did you go to university? No, I didn't go to university. I completed my A-levels in the UK though. Hello Alexander Hill, hope you're doing well. Rika DeRids, how safe is it to fly nowadays COVID wise? I don't think, I've done how many flights now? I've done nearly 100 hours this year. I don't think I've had any passengers with C-19. And my operator, it's a mandatory requirement to wear masks at all times, so you can't actually take it off unless eating, drinking, or you're medically exempt. Yeah, it's completely safe, no different to going to the shops. Corner page in the sim, do you have to fly with MCAS disabled, and if so, how was the behaviour? So MCAS is a system that's waiting in situ there, essentially corner page. It activates to help recover from a stall, and it's there to we saw it working how it is meant to work in the sim. But the problem was previously MCAS failed to disengage and it essentially kept feeding in nose down stab trim. So yeah, we saw how it's worked properly, and we also saw how if we're not happy with it, we can completely override it as well. We can move the stab trim cutout, switch the cutout, kills it completely, or we can trim in the opposite direction. Same as a runaway stabilizer. Tony, files, do you have to wear masks in the cockpit? No, once we're in the cockpit, flight is closed, we can remove our masks, and that is actually recommended by EASA. Mishstealth, are you based in London? Again, I'll just ask you to respect and not ask questions about where I'm based. Speculate, thank you very much. Hello Antonio, thanks for your useful tutorials, much appreciated. Question, is ZIBO fuel flow a little optimistic compared to the real one? I found the ZIBO mod 737, Antonio, is pretty much spot on. X-Plane 11, it allows developers to make very realistic engine performance. Yeah, so the amount of fuel I take, the fuel burn you see here, we should be burning just under 2 tons an hour in the cruise here. Let's have a look what we're actually doing. Slightly more in fact, actually. So I'm talking about that 2.4. I'd expect it to be slightly less, but I mean, to be fair, we're flying quite a high cost index. My operator, we fly a little bit slower sometimes, so I'm used to seeing around 2 tons in the float. So yeah, rest assured, it's very close to the real aircraft. James P, will a blue light indication on the forward overhead or aft overhead panels illuminate bright blue, give a master caution? No. Only the amber lights will give you a master caution. ResX, does it get boring in cruise, or do you have something to keep you occupied? Well, longer flights, it can get a little bit laborious, if I'm honest. So if we're doing a Canaries and back from the UK, that's 4 hours each way. But usually you haven't flown with a guy for a while, so you catch up and talk about your life, his life, her life, or whatever. And you know, I always take the opportunity to look at stuff in the manuals, read the airfield briefing, look at where I'm going next day if I haven't done that already, fill in my logbook. Yeah, I'm one thing I've always said, and I've always said it on this channel, you know, best pilots never stop learning, and there's so much information you can't often recall it. So for example, stuff we need to know, we obviously always know, so emergency situations, QH, memory items, etc. However, in certain things like technical knowledge, if you haven't looked in a while, it can get a little bit rusty, so I always review stuff in the manual. Again, but ain't it so that when you fly at high altitude you burn less fuel, and even more if you're in those jet streams? So yes, the endurance increases as you climb, the engines burn less fuel per hour. However, what Lido does, the flight plan is very clever. It'll actually, as you said, look at the winds and actually say, well, actually, if you stay at this level, it might be slightly below your optimum, but because your ground speed is much higher, you'll actually, throughout the entire sector, burn less fuel. And again, the flight planning software works all that out for you. So you just basically follow the altitudes it advises, unless you're being capped by a lower level or something like that. I-69 Turtles, how much HPL do you remember? I'm scared to think of what I've forgotten. No comment, I-69 Turtles. Enough. But I have a very good book called Ace the Technical Pilot Interview, which is, it's worthwhile actually quickly flicking through that to see what you remember. And it does cover things all there. But I do still have my HPL books, and I occasionally reference them, but they often go well over and beyond what you actually need to know practically. Tom, you force your FO to watch on your streams during a long cruise, don't you? Absolutely. Brainwash. Superb. Anyway, where are we? A bit of weather near Lercy. We've got Frankfurt over there to our right, just to the north of our position. Coming over Belgium later on. Got a lot of airports which would usually appear on the ND. Very nice. Jarko, what part of your flight is your favourite and why? Well, takeoff and landing, of course. The dynamic parts. As long as the weather's nice and not close to limits. Abbas, is it true that you can't discuss some objects like politics, for example? No, I mean, Abbas, you could talk about anything you want, really. Obviously, like you would with anyone else doing whatever you do, and you might have opposing views, perhaps, on certain topics. But, yeah, we're not going to start fighting over that. Flashback, you're a captain or FO? It's fine if you can't say. I'm a captain, became a captain about 2.5 years ago now. Actually, I remember I did a stream, we did a stream afterwards and everyone was very kind, so congratulations. So when I started the channel 4.5 years ago, I was what you call an SFI, or a first officer, and an SFI. So I was also an instructor in the simulator, teaching type ratings, conducting recurrency training. And I did that for just 3 years at my operator, and I finished that and did the command upgrade to become a captain. And now I have about nearly 1,000 hours in the left-hand seat now. So yeah, very happy to have done a promotion now. And just now need the pandemic to bugger off and in short. You can't discuss politics under flight level 100. Love it. Unsolved puzzle, might be a stupid question. Are you allowed to use your phone during the flight? Are there certain times throughout the flight where you're not allowed on it? So yeah, we have our mobile phones. It's the only way we can contact the company via operations or anything like that. So in critical phases, yeah, you know, the mobile phone, it's on the checklist, phone's off. You have to turn them off there as well. But you know, we occasionally take a picture, you know, or something in the cruise. But yeah, during critical phases, it's off, not used as well. The iPad as well, we have iPads on our aircraft as well, which we also use the camera to take pictures of documentation. So for our load sheets in the cruise, we have to take a picture using the iPad camera, and we send that after we've landed. So we're pretty much now a paperless airline. We don't have any paper apart from the loading document, the load sheet, and the technical log, the aircraft technical log, which lives in the flight deck. 2 tons, any plans to return to instruction as a captain in the simulator, or do you need more hours? So my operator, they very much want SFIs as instructors, so they're generally FOs. They've actually just put an advert out for some more SFIs, and it does say on it, yeah, captains cannot apply. I'd love to apply again and go back in the sim, because I loved that job, and you know, found it very rewarding. But the only opportunity is to become a TRE, an examiner, which, you know, it's a few years away yet. I need to become a line training captain first, and again, I'd like to have a couple more years on the left-hand seat before becoming an LTC. I'm quite enjoying just being, you know, left-hand seats at the moment. Commander, have you seen the weather in Manchester right now? Lots of CBs and heavy rain. Uh-oh. I mean, we'll play the game properly. If we have weather depicted on the weather radar, we'll request weather avoidance headings and keep well clear. Ah yes, Manchester METAR is showing thunderstorms. Great. Currently there are thunderstorms right now in Manchester. Let's have a look in real... Is anyone holding to south of Manchester in real life? See if anyone's diverted yet. I'm quite happy not to be flying today, if I'm honest. No, it looks like Manchester's fine. I can see right now in Manchester there's a British Airways flight. Seems to be okay on final. Robin Klein, does the 737 have a printer? At my operator, we don't have a printer or ACARs or an ability to print off anything. Hayden, do you take precautions against deep vein thrombosis? No, I don't. If a METAR contains that many slashes, I'm not going there. Well, generally, that's just differentiating. You know, can't see the height of the cloud, essentially. Storms are passing. Thanks, Rob. You can see, look, we've got weather depicted on our weather radar as well, but that is off to our north of our present position. Looks like a bit of a face, look. 2 eyes and a nose and 2 bull rings of some sorts. Very devilish. We'll stay well aware. Anyway, please contact me on 123... 7. So we've got some ATC guys. Just turn the music down.
Section 41, Romeo Langen, score 1000.
Langen.
Score 1000, section 41. Landgrader, check 1000, DFRX 150, 30 miles, full flight,
Philippe, you had an engine failure in ZIBO mod. You performed a fuel transfer from right tank to left tank. I didn't turn on cross-feed valve. Could that have been the cause? Well, you can't actually transfer fuel from one tank to the other in the 737. You can choose to feed fuel from one tank, but you can't transfer fuel from one tank to the other. Mr. Do you like KLM? Yes, no problem with KLM. No problem with any airline.
Langen Alpaca 12 Echo, flight level 380.
Alpaca 1 Echo, identified.
Langen, radar, good evening, Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo.
Here comes the Alpaca Large. Love that.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, Langen identified.
Langen radar going up to Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, flight level 3602 Lersu.
Level 350, we're inbound Mustang and our squawk code is 2452.
Easy 12 Golf Foxtrot, Langen identified.
Langen, hello, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, flight level 360 Lersu.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, Langen identified.
Perfect, we've checked.
Langen, hello, Alpaca 67 Tango Echo Whiskey, flight level 360 inbound gas gap.
Everyone check it at once.
Alpaca 67 Tango Echo identified.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Langen, hello, Jazz 107, flight level 335, climbing.
Fly Josh, you're using Pilot Edge. I think that's exclusively in California. Pilot Edge did invite me a while back to try their service, but no, we're on Vatsim, which is the free-to-use ATC service. Oh, quick question for anyone in chat. Vatsim, are they using that new feature? I can't remember what it's called, but it makes all the traffic move very smoothly now. Allows you to sort of fly in formation and things like that. Is that now live?
50, 40,
I don't know.
30, 20, 10.
Lee Russell, thank you very much for the £5.
If the last 12 months have taught us anything, it's that nothing is certain. Your streams and motivation to work and progress are a powerful lesson.
Oh, Lee Russell, well, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much for the £5 donation and for the continued support on the channel as well. You've donated in the past, so it's very kind. And yes, motivation, be positive. And I have to say that the channel has been a godsend, really. Not only to keep me current and keep me current as well, but yeah, the membership people contribute to me financially, and yeah, it's been really nice to have that sort of support. And I was on unpaid leave for the last 4 months in the winter as well. So again, I would always like to stress the channel will never ever request monetization. The members obviously contribute and they get an additional service for that, and I try and make it as a little bit more personal for them. But thank you to everyone for not only watching the videos, but all the contributions you've made. It's kept me motivated. I've enjoyed making the content. Even when I've been at work this last 5 days, I've been looking forward to streaming again and finding an opportunity to stream as well. So yeah, I'll keep this going as long as I can. Thanks, Lee. Velocity, that's the thing on Vatsim. Oh, you don't. Oh, it's not live yet. Okay.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Thank you, Tom. Unbelievable.
Less motivating. In here for the nothing to see here long.
Thanks a lot, Tom Pasco, for the $5 and for the continued support as well, but he's a member. Thank you very much. Yes, the bingo card. Flydex's bingo card. Nothing to see here. I don't think I've said that a few times recently. I don't know. But yeah, probably some point in the not too distant future I'll be saying that. I'll try and avoid saying it today. Thank you very much, Tom. Very, very kind. AvGeek69, tips your first flight on Vatsim. So yeah, try and pick. I wouldn't recommend, say, an overload event into Manchester like we're doing here, but Vatsim actually hosts what they call first wings events. I don't know how often they are. But they're sort of designed for people who are new to Vatsim as well. But no, just choose an aircraft you're familiar with or are happy to take onto the network, and don't it's nerve-wracking. You'll be nervous, that's completely natural, but don't hesitate to ask for assistance from ATC. And yeah, enjoy it as well. Enjoy it. You'll have something to do. There's a great YouTube channel called. Oh, I always forget this guy.
It's the bridge you have to cross.
Just looking at crossing the bridge. What's going on there? Someone remind me of this guy's YouTube channel. It's a Dutch guy, and he does really good introductory videos for people new to the Vatsim network. Aviation Pro, that's it. Yeah, Aviation Pro. Go check out his videos. Really nice, calm. I actually referenced some of them when I actually started using Vatsim as well, because Vatsim, within the limitations of a sim, is slightly different to how ATC works, especially with how they a tower can control ground and an approach can control ground as well, and that was new. But Vatsim doing a great job in simulating how ATC works in real life. But absolutely would recommend Aviation Pro for anyone who wants to start using Vatsim. I believe so, Crom 1K. Yeah, I think he's got a scholarship of some sort. Deserves it. Unicom Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Good day. Yeah, good. So it was getting a bit busy on frequency. Yeah, sorry about the background noise on Vatsim. It's very hard. I know it can sometimes be talking over me when I'm talking. It's quite challenging to get that volume right. But Shaky69, great to see you back streaming, Captain. May I also say a huge congratulations to my son and his fellow member for the commencement of his flight training glider. Shaky69, I think I know who you're referring to. That's amazing. Well, congratulations for starting his flight training, gliding. Shaky69, that was me when I was 15 and a half years old. Started gliding, so yeah, a great way to start flying and getting involved in aviation as soon as possible. No doubt he'll be flying solo before he knows it. Very, very cool. Fred, usually during a flight, when you turn off the seatbelts, great question, Fred. Usually, well, during the COVID pandemic at the moment, my operator, we leave the seatbelts on throughout the entire flight. That doesn't mean you have to stay seated. You can still use the toilet. Just let the cabin crew know. The idea is to try and minimise the
40, 30,
passengers moving around the cabin
20,
due to the pandemic,
10.
spreading it essentially. But normal operation, off at 10,000 and on in descent at 15,000. Thanks, Northern Lights.
Hi, Captain. How far out from the VOR or NDB is the MSA valid? Is it to the edge of the chart?
Oh, not quite. Well, typically MSA 25 miles. So MSA will be depicted either around a navigational aid or the airfield, the airport, and it's 25 miles. Within 25 miles of the beacon, your MSA is valid. Outside of that, you can't guarantee your terrain clearance. You'll need to reference something like a MORA, grid MORA, or typically, we're very lucky in Europe, we have radar control everywhere. So ATC will give you radar minimum altitudes. Thank you, Northern Lights, for your 50 Swedish krona. Boba Fett, you're going to use the PMDG 737 in Microsoft Flight Simulator over the ZIBO. I intend to use both, and no doubt when the PMDG 737 video is out, I'll do some sort of comparison video between the two and give you my honest opinions on both. Will I have a preference? Probably will, but we'll keep an eye on both there. I intend to use both in the future. Kurosh, in reality, do you hear a beep if you step on someone when transmitting?
50,
when you're
40,
transmitting Kurosh,
30,
you hear nothing.
20,
you're blocking everyone else, but
10.
anyone else listening will just hear garble and static and noise, and whoever's strongest there.
A little contribution, spend it on beer or some goodies for Jack.
Just beer. Thank you very much, Olofsson, for the 100 Norwegian krona. Very kind of you. Excellent. I'm actually drinking cider at the moment. I've been drinking cider. Obviously not at work or before work, where I had, but on my time out, I've been drinking a lot of cider at the moment. Really enjoying drinking it. The sweetness of it. I have quite a sweet tooth. But I'll get some cider, Hakan. Thank you very much for your continued support. Very kind of you, sir. Very cool. Listen, what does the abbreviation ARP mean? Hold on, just scrolled off there. ARP mean centre of those MSA rigs. Is it airport reference point or something like that? It's basically, yeah, the 25-mile ring is based off the aerodrome, and that will give you. It's based on a 25-mile radius around that point as well. And it's 1,000 feet, minimum 1,000 feet clearance. So yeah, basically, we have a saying. We always brief the MSA on approach charts. I won't repeat what I ever say when I'm briefing it, but we say if the hits the fan, we'll make sure in that sector we maintain at least this altitude. And when I say that, if you look at previous incidents in the past involving CFIT, controlled flight to terrain, it's usually caused by disorientation or being unaware of their present position. So, you know, it'd be a very unusual situation where you lose that much amount of situational awareness. But let's imagine we have some sort of navigational issue. We lose the ND, we lose radar, and all of a sudden I don't know where I am. It's always nice to know in the back of your head, if you're on the approach, what is the MSA, you know, and in that case, just firewall it, climb up to the MSA, you know, you're not going to hit anything, and make sure you stay within 25 miles. So we always brief that. In what sort of situation will you have to ever use that? You know, very unlikely, very rare, but on that one day where everything, those holes start aligning in the Swiss cheese, we say. So when these accidents happen, it's usually one thing that causes an aircraft accident or incident. It's several factors. And when all these things start to line up to allow for an incident to happen, if we start rolling down the hill there, you've got to be able to know what's your get out here. Is it going to be the wind shear escape? Is it going to be the terrain escape? Is it going to be to climb to the MSA? That's why aviation's so safe, because we cover these eventualities, regardless the chance of it happening. Excellent. Inbound to D-Nuts then. Hopefully we'll get some more ATC soon. No Captain Morgan, disappointing. Where's Pilot Mike when you need him? Oh, I still have a little dreg of Captain Morgan. Dreamlist, who is Jack? Jack is my dog, Mariner, my partner, who sometimes pops into the stream. We have a dog called Jack, 7 years old. Cider's a good choice. I prefer Strongbow. I haven't drank Strongbow for years. I've been drinking, I can't remember, what's it called? The main bag, Copperberg. Yeah, mostly Copperberg, because it's so sweet. I really like sweet. I've got quite a sweet tooth. So Copperberg mixed fruits I've been having. Strawberry and lime. Their strawberry and lime is so nice. Had some. What was I had one the other day? It was really strong. I think it was called Kingston Black. It was quite strong. I like to try these sort of individual bottles occasionally as well. Thomas, since you're flying over Belgium, go get that beer. Brilliant. Hello, Victor Vondra. No, to use X-Vision to change the appearance colours of the sim as well, or just default visuals. This is all default visuals here. This is I'm not using any clouds or well, sorry, the active sky clouds I'm using, but I'm not using any X-Vision or anything like that because I'm one of a believer of sort of running a vanilla X-Plane seat plugin wise. I just have what I need to make it as realistic as possible, and it just makes the sim a little bit more stable, gives me decent performance. So yeah, not using anything there. Kieran, we had that discussion, didn't we, on Discord not so long ago? My White Lightning drinking days are long gone. Down at the park. Brandon M, when landing on parallel runways, do real pilots always brief a sidestep in case ATCR? So yes, Brandon, Manchester is an airport where a sidestep manoeuvre could possibly happen. Now we discussed that in a recent stream as well. So sidestep manoeuvres are approved so long as when you make the sidestep, the landing runway is further away. It can't actually be shorter. So in the case of Manchester, if we're landing on 05 right, you can set a sidestep to 05 left because it's further, and vice versa. You can sidestep from 23 right to 23 left. At my operator, you have to have daytime VMC, a few other rules as well, but we would cover all those in the event of eventuality of a sidestep. So for the case, I think runway 23 right could be in use, so we can sidestep from 23 right to 23 left. Do you know Austin Mayer? Isn't that the X-Plane guy? I don't know him, no. He has commented on one of my videos, though. Do the face reveal. Fly with Ryanair. No. Oh my goodness me. T7 driver, is it okay to ignore a clearly spurious GPWS event? An excellent question. So no, we always retreat, even in the case if it's spurious or something like that. We treat them always as genuine. So don't forget there's two forms of essentially eGPWS messages from the system. You have a caution and a warning. Okay, so you've got to be able to differentiate between the two. So the most important thing is the warning. The warning is the oral pull up. Okay, pull up. So you have to perform the terrain escape maneuver. Okay, a terrain caution. Okay, you can actually get pull up appear on the PFD visually, but you can in certain situations continue. So a terrain caution example would be a sink rate or too low flaps, too low gear. They're classed as too low as terrain cautions. You just have to configure the aircraft or maneuver the aircraft to react to the caution there, but hard warnings must be respected. Great question. Listen, what if you land on an airport that's not in the database? Imagine being fully established, runway in sight, and then you hear pull up, you need to go around. So, yes, you're quite right. It knows where the airports are, so if you're approaching an airport that's not there, you're going to start getting these terrain cautions. But if you're landing on an airport that's not on in the nav database, you know, something's seriously wrong, and certainly in Europe, that's very rarely going to ever be an issue. There you go. I was actually getting the full list of what GPWS cautions can be caused by. So yeah, cautions are sink rate, don't sink, too low flaps, too low gear, too low terrain, glide slope, bank angle. They're all cautions. You just simply correct the flight path or adjust your configuration to stop the caution. And you must realise that a GPWS warning is an activation of the oral pull up. So terrain pull up or obstacle pull up. If it says to you pull up, you do the terrain escape manoeuvre. Firewall it, disconnect the automation, ignore the flight directives, it's wings level, 20 degrees nose up, and even then, if terrain is still an issue at 20 degrees nose up, you can push up further all the way till stick shaker if you think you're going to hit something. So Listerman, yeah, you watched a video recently where exactly that happened and the captain said disregard and continue the approach. So yeah, different operators might have different procedures. So if it's spurious, they might say in their operator, you know, you can continue. It's just something that we have at my operator as a rule, as an SOP. So yeah, it could be in that case that it was slightly different rules. Oscar, nav database loaded into the FMC, terrain database is loaded into the EGPWS. You look, I can see your profile picture, you definitely look like an engineer. they know far more than us guys on that stuff. Classic engineer, if you're an engineer, Oscar, you'll like this story. The other day...
50, 40,
thank you very much.
30,
I'll just say 20, thank you very much there to Bev.
10.
Bev and Shaky, I get it.
Great to see you back. CPT gliding underway, but Shaky 69 already told you that. Hope you're settled with Jarl for the summer and see you in EGCC.
Thank you, Ben, for the £5. That's very kind of you. Good luck with your gliding as well, and we was well informed. But thank you both of you for your donations. Good luck with it, and keep us posted with your progress. And see you in Manchester. I guess you're flying in. Thank you very much to. Farstad has just joined as a new member. Thank you for the support, buddy. Glad you enjoyed the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom emojis in chats. And welcome aboard, buddy. So yeah, as we've got an engineer here, I think Oscar Ballister, classic pilot-engineer relationship. Us pilots don't know anything. We were trying. We finished the flight the other day, and I don't know if you guys have ever flown on a 737, but when you open the door, you open the door by putting the handle to open, and you swing it round, and the door's locked in position by something called a gust lock, and it's a little yellow switch. I'll see if it's modelled in the ZIBO mod when we get into Manchester. And what this gust lock does, it prevents the wind from slamming the door shut. You don't want to be in the way when this thing shuts. Okay, so a huge weight that swings round, and the gust lock had got jammed. Okay, so the cabin crew couldn't close it. FO couldn't close it, I couldn't close it. I was trying to push this gust lock button down here as soon as possible. Thankfully it was the last flight, all the passengers are off, we were just waiting there. So I called an engineer. Engineer comes up here. He literally just wiggles the door the tiniest amount and pushes the gust lock straight down. He went, you bloody pilots. and then walked off. Thankfully I had put it in the tech log, so he didn't mind. But yeah, basically this little gust lock had just got stuck, Oscar. You just need to move the door a bit more open. There you go, Oscar. So yeah, I'd never seen that before. The gust lock had got stuck. But to be fair, I'd looked through the tech log in the flight. Anyway, I always have a little flick through, and they had the same issue about a couple of weeks ago. So it needs a little bit of looking into. Ken Easton, I remember that gust lock very well. See you, Captain. Take care, Ken. Thanks, Anthony, bloody prune car. Oh dear. Farrick, which add-on do you think has better systems, ZIBO 737 or PMDG? I would really like to have a 737 with better systems depth. So the ZIBO mod has improved significantly with regards to systems modelling. However, I think the PMDG maybe has better implementation. Now bear in mind, I've not used a PMDG for quite some time, but I always remember it having quite good systems modelling, and no doubt the MSFS version will have excellent systems modelling. Having said that, yes, the ZIBO mod has a fully working air conditioning and pressurisation system now. As for the real aircraft, the fuel pumps and fuel system, the engine start. So yeah, it's a tough one. Kieran Harvey, very relatable. Yeah, sort of that situation. Yes, Bev, I'm confused. I've noticed I've changed my name. I have. Yeah, a bit confused because I can't remember what your name was before. Your father and son team. AFO 3310, I'm currently working on my CFI check ride. What was your most difficult ride? Let me think now. My operator, I mean, I've done how many sim checks now? I've been in 10 years, so nearly 20 sim checks. I've had a couple which have been a bit tougher. I remember one we had when I was an FO, quite a new FO, and we had issues with the flaps. And I was quite new, and it took me and the captain a while to get back, and we passed that check ride. I haven't failed on touchwood yet, and we passed that. And the TRE was like, "Yeah, we need to look that up a bit more." But I remember that the instrument rating went well, so I got first time pass on that. But I remember that being really hard work. I did Coventry Gloucester, I think it was, and I was going into Coventry, and it was really turbid and really windy. And the examiner said, "Look, it's up to you if you want to go or not, but I will take the weather conditions into account. I know it's pretty challenging, so we'll." It's up to you, but don't worry about that. And I flew the ILS into Coventry. I mean, it doesn't have ILS there anymore. And I was bouncing up and down localizer and glide slope half scale all the way down. I think it was over 35 knot winds in Little Seneca crosswind. We only did a go around there. But yeah, it was tough. I did pass, and she said it was very close to not being, like, if it was a normal weather, yeah, I would have probably partialed, but because it was so gusty and windy, you know, you kept it within limits, and I let that into account. I remember that well. But yeah, that was I took that my jet ride of the IR in 2011, so yeah, 10 years ago now. Yes, Bev, Mark King, there you go. That's why I was trying to think who's who. I don't know why you changed your name, but I'll try and remember that from now on. Farrak, thank you. Both really hard to decide for me. Finding more stuff in PMDG when it comes to systems, but the aircraft behaves rather weird, especially when rudder is used. I wouldn't say there's more the PMDG as the limitations of FSX and prepared. I remember as well, it doesn't react very well to dynamic conditions. Sort of like if you disconnect everything and set an attitude, it just holds it indefinitely. I remember setting it at 20 degrees, letting go of everything, and it just rocked solid at 20 degrees. Just, yeah, didn't seem to make many changes, or the weather didn't seem to react much to that. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons I moved to X-Plane 11. Listen, when you didn't align your heading knob within 10 seconds. 737 time rating revoked. Brilliant. Right, anyway, how long have we got till top of descent? 168 miles. We probably should start thinking about setting up here, especially as we're approaching UK airspace. I'm going to have a little look at the Vatsim map here. See what the situation is with ATC. Oh, failed to refresh Vatsim data. Aviation boy, have you ever flown in Ivea before? I haven't, no, but I have heard of Ivea. Oh. We actually have no one on London South at the moment. So anyway, let's start setting up for this approach. So I think in Manchester, 2-3 left, maybe 2-3 right. And someone suggested 2-3 left earlier. I did select 2-3 right. It's been a while since we've flown into Manchester on a stream. Listen, what was the RMI pointing to? Let's have a look here. Bravo November Echo, apparently. No DME there, but it's pointing to a VOR off in that direction. Usually it comes up with the display there, I can't see it. So arrival's going to be a Dane to Alpha regardless of the runway in use. So that positions you to the southeast of Manchester, and then after Dane you get vectors. What are we going for? We're saying 2-3 right for arrivals. That makes sense. Yeah, because the problem is with 2-3 left, you can't vacate. You have to backtrack. So yeah, of course it'll be 2-3 right. So I'll just show you here briefly. 2-3 left. Well, actually, I don't need the airport chart. Yeah, if you land on 2-3 left, look, you can't go anywhere. You have to go to Whiskey, and at that some event, they're going to really struggle to backtrack you. So it's going to be 2-3 right, departures on 2-3 left for sure. So 2-3 right, we can still sidestep to 2-3 left though if they need us to. So I'll plan for 2-3 right. So approach 2-3 right. Airport. Oh, I hate taxiing at Manchester. I hate it. You guys are gonna love it. I'm gonna hate it. Right. Let's now start setting up the approach. So hand over control to Jim. So we do have sort of basic ACARs here. We can request weather. Let's get the weather, the latest ATIS for Manchester. Andy, Manchester showing 40 departures and 60 arrivals as well. Message. Manchester, variable 1 knot, 10k, few CBs, QNH of 1010. Okay, so that's all copied. $250 below 100s. Yeah, we'll sort that restriction out in a second. 310, 200s and 100s. Page up there. So yeah, look, hardly any winds there. We're quite strong actually at 31,000. 323 at 60. It drops down to 294 at 11. 100 to 11 at 11. QNH 1010 expected. Executed. Fixed rings for runway 23 right. 3 times our height, so we're currently at 36,000 feet, so that's 108. Roughly where our top descent will be. 4 miles for VMC and 10 miles for flap 1, 200 knots, 3,000 feet AGL. So, fixed rings are in. Let's have a look at our arrival then. So, day 2 Alpha, speed limit, make sure 3 minutes before holding facility you're at 250 knots or less, or 140 below. For day 2 Alpha, flight level 200 by 25 miles before Trent VOR. We don't have anything there, we'll leave it with what ATC tells us. That's coming on that airway, 200 by Elvos. So, now usually I'd stick all these restrictions in. So Trent, 200 by 25 miles before Trent, we should be way below that. Elvos, 25 miles before, that is there. 200, so we'll put 200 below at Elvos. And flight level 80 by Dane. So you see that restriction at Dane, flight level 80. The reason it's moaning at us is because it thinks we're too high. However, if I put this to at or above, it should stop that flight level 80, keep descending restriction. Now ideally at Dane, we want to be at, for a CDA, 69, so it's at 80. It's a little bit high, however, I can easily deal with that. We need to comply with the restriction first. So all I'm going to do then is build myself a little bit of a base leg point, based off 2-3 right. So if I step it here, we're not going to do a routing like this. So if we have a look here at the final approach track, create a waypoint off there. Just get the charts open on my work iPad. So that's 2-3 right, 2-3. 232 is the final approach track. So we'll make a radial of that. 232, 90 degrees is going to be 142. So if I go here to the centre fix, radial 142, and a distance of, let's say, 3 miles after Dane. There you go. So I've just created a little waypoint there, and that's just going to help VNAV with descent planning if we don't get any expected delay there and execute it. There you go. So it's just helped that out slightly. And what I'm going to do is at CF201 is tell VNAV I want to be doing less than 180 knots or below. The recommended turn or speed on base leg is 180 knots by ICAO. So that's in there. There we are. So we sort of built a little approach there based on what we can expect from ATC. So go back to map here. So it's very important when we're briefing and setting up. The pilot monitoring has, if there's weather around, weather radar on, keeping an eye on weather, because when you're briefing you often turn the scale down, you're briefing the waypoints, and the pilot monitoring is paying attention to you. You can easily get a little bit distracted, and you don't know you could be heading off towards a thunderstorm. So always one of us has, when there's weather around, weather selected, a decent range so you can look out ahead and see what's going on. You can usually build up a picture very quickly by listening on the radio as well, what's going on at your destination. If there's delays. So, carrying on here with the rest of the setup. Sent forecast winds are in fixed rings as well. Let's carry on briefing this approach there. So, coming from the Trent VOR 15.7. Delta 312 Echo, speed limit 0.250 knots or below, and then it's inbound to Dane. Now, it is likely today could be very busy. We might have to enter the hold here at Dane before we fly the approach, and we have to be level at 80 at that point, unless ATC tell us to be somewhere else. Don't go past Dane without ATC clearance. So if you manage to get yourself to Dane, you can't check in with ATC if it's really busy. You have to enter the hold. And that's it, that's the end of the arrival. Now, there's no transition here, it's just vectors, so you only have the ILS chart available. So that's why I've just simply gone from Dane towards the centre fix, so we can expect vectors. Let's brief the ILS then. So all our frequencies for ATC, MSA, we discussed the importance of MSA earlier. That's based on the Manchester VOR, 3,500 feet to the north. So if that hits the fan, we'll go to 4,000 feet around Manchester. ILS frequency is 1095. That's active. Put the Manchester VOR on standby, which is on the airfield, 1355. 1355. Final approach course is 232. .232. 4 miles, height check 1580. That's depicted here. 4 miles, glide slope. Height check 1580, usually that would be coded in the FMC as well. Not in this case. In this case, what it's done is going from the platform altitude at 3,500, which is at 10 miles. You can see it's 9.9, and then all the way down to our runway point there. 3-degree glide path checks in the FMC. DME reads 0, just beyond the threshold, I think. It's not very clear on Jepson charts. Yeah, ILS DME reads 0 at the threshold, 23 right. Just our minimums to set, can't see aircraft. Full approach lights from the 550 metres available, 449 for our minimums. There we are, 449 is set, expecting QNH of 1010. Missed approach if we have to go around. We push token once, called go around flat 15, stay ground for us, positive red, climb gear at 400 feet, we can select LNAV. We're going to climb to 3,500 feet, straight ahead, until passing 750 feet, and then we're going to make, or 0 DME, whichever's the latest, probably be 750, and make a right turn, tracking 357, and as directed, so you get vectors. For separation for departing traffic, expedite climb through 750. So yeah, it's based off aircraft departing off the other runway. They want you to turn right, northbound. There we are. So MSA we've discussed. Elevation we've also set 250. ILS we've discussed. We've got Pappies on the left-hand side and the missed approach. So landing performance then, 23 right, 23 left is also the same length, so I'm happy with the performance of 23 right. We'll standby 23 left. Obviously in contaminated conditions you have to bear in mind that could be different. 23 right then, we'll plan to vacate at Bravo Delta. That's the first sort of high speed there. It's going to be a distance of around 2/3 of the runway length, so we're looking around 1,800-ish metres to be conservative. Let's have a look at the landing performance. Ooh, ATC, ding dong.
Level by Leicester. Thank you, 200 by Leicester, 810.
London, good evening. Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, maintaining flight level 360 to Koppel, expecting day 2 Alpha.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, London Control, hello, route direct to Elvos.
To Elvos, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey.
London Control, hello,
Elvos, there we are, that's a nice shortcut, look at that. Wouldn't get that in London at this time of the day. That's for sure.
London, this is Alpaca 105.
So Elvos 200 excuse it. Available. Yeah, let's have a look at the landing performance. There's my true air floating in, that's why I'm losing a little bit of FPS there.
London Control, good afternoon. Zap 5
where is the landing calculator again?
Shamrock 8 Lima Uniform London Control.
I can't remember where it is. Not having time, obviously.
Route.
There we are.
Shamrock 8 Lima Uniform Route Direct Elvos. And it's a Dane to Alpha.
2 to right, dry. Let's put it wet, just in case it's been raining there recently. Always be conservative with landing performance. Surface wind was.
Zap 5 Alpha London, hello. It's a Kidley 1 Golf arrival. When you're ready, descend flight level 150.
Just reloading the Manchester ATIS here, or Meta, I should say.
1 Golf arrival, descend flight level 150.
It's going slow. Variable at 3 knots, so we'll call that -3. Oh, it won't let me do that. How do I do -3 in the ZIBO mod? Just call it 0. Temperature is 18 degrees.
Descend flight level 140 to level bar.
QNH is 1010. Flat 30. Air conditioning auto, anti-ice off, reverses both engaged. Let's have a look at our landing weight. So we're over 4.6, that's loads of fuel, 2.3 to get to East Midlands. So that's an hour's holding fuel. Going to be 1.1. Landing weight's going to be 61.6.
Alpaca 105 London, hello. Dane to Alpha arrival. When you're ready, descend to flight level 200 to be level by
Flat 30, order break 3, 2073. Happy with that. And then we'll take that Bravo Delta exit. The thing is, in X-Plane, which is a bit of a gotcha, wet runways are very slippy if it is wet. I've noticed that in the past, where if it says it's wet or slippy when wet, you can't stop. It's a bit strange. But yeah, flat 30, order break 2, order break 3, second detent reverse, and we'll vacate Bravo Delta. Then I will ask you to pray for flight deck to sim as I try and single pilot taxi into our designated stand into Manchester. It's here Alpha where it can be very confusing. Hotspot Alpha Bravo, and then you have Charlie here, and we'll see what stand we get. It could be very exciting for you. There we go. Ah, yeah, yes, of course, sorry for tailwind, I could put 0503, yes.
Lima Bravo route direct Sapco.
So, what wind is the heading wind speed? Yes, I know, but yeah, usually when the wind's variable at 3 knots in the OPT, we just put -3. Yes, of course, you can put the reciprocal and 3 knots, it's the same effect, but we're so used to putting -3.
When ready, 200 level Sapco, Airline 78. Monarch 3-4 Mike London.
Hello, I've been trying to get a word in. The Monarch 3-4 Mike maintaining flight level 190 direct to Kidley.
Monarch 3-4 Mike, many thanks. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Kidley 1 Golf arrival.
Hey, firm, Kidley 1 Golf, Monarch 3-4.
I think that's okay. Cool, briefing's complete. We've got about 60 miles till top of descent.
Lufthansa 96 Bravo, London Control.
Bob, Microsoft Flight Simulator latest update gives massive FPS improvement. I assume you'll move over when PMDG 737 releases. Not at all, Bob. I will use the PMDG 737 and Microsoft Flight Simulator. This whole argument of one's better than the other, they both have pros and cons. You know, I'm not going to switch exclusively to using another simulator. Excellent.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, London Control. Roger, fly mark decimal 78. Mark decimal 78, Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo. A-line, correction easy 5. Correction easy 85, Romeo Juliet, fly mark decimal 78 or greater.
Mark 78 or greater.
I could do a pilot Mike into a Monterey car in Manchester, he'll definitely know where he's going. I haven't been in Manchester for a while. When ready to send flight level 200 level Elvos, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So 200 sets, as the chart mentioned, and we entered into the FMC 200 below Elvos, so VNAV should manage that for us. You can only use one flight sim by law. No, I have actually seen this flight sim 5 update. Yeah, I've got big FPS improvements. I had a little play with the Cessna and stuff. The one with floats. But yeah, don't worry, for all those Microsoft Flight Simulator fans out there, I'll do another community flight soon. We'll do a nice little fun flight. might try one of those split streams where we fly in on a commercial jet airliner in X-Plane 11 and we switch to Microsoft Flight Simulator to do some GA flying. Those are always quite popular, those streams.
Control, hello, Speedbird 17.
Phasian makes some international mistakes during taxis, so I'll have another flight stream into my funny flight sim playlist, I guess. Cool. Bob Dylan has just become a member. Welcome on board, Bob. Glad you joined the content. You're invited to our members only Discord. Enjoy using the custom emojis in chat as well. Thank you very much for the support. Ah yes, there's Orbex True Earth below.
Contact Scottish Control 133.8.
I'm really missing having all my ortho tiles in non-existence, but the plan is in the future is I'm not actually going to spend the hundreds of hours I've done in the past downloading ortho. All I'm going to be doing is downloading tiles around the departure and arrival airport. So you usually have 10 tiles en route. Generally we're in the cockpit talking, or it's cloudy like this, you know, or I might just go for zoom level 14 just for en route tiles. I mean, for today I just downloaded some tiles for departure as well, but yeah, it's really a pain not having them anymore. Apparently there's so many mini bugs in Microsoft Flight Simulator right now. Yeah, I've heard there's been a lot of little problems. Like things for the casual flight simmer, they're probably not going to notice, but for guys that want to be flying, you know, realistic aircraft with all the procedures, like someone mentioned, the Aerosoft CRJ apparently is completely broken by the latest update. Have Aerosoft said they're going to update it? And it must be quite hard for developers, because a lot of developers in the past would release an aircraft and then just update it once a year, maybe. They're going to have to stay on top of it. If they want to make a product and release it, they're going to have to stay on top of it to keep it updated for the consumer. And I hope some developers don't just release it and just leave it, and then that's that, you know. They can't do that anymore. And FSX wasn't a problem, but yeah, I mean, in X-Plane 11 they push out updates every few months or so.
Hello, gain 2 Alpha arrival, fly mark decimal 75 or less.
Only one of your most popular musicians in the history is now a member of the channel. Very, very hilarious. It is indeed Bob Dylan.
Fly mark decimal 75 or less, and gain 2 Alpha arrival. Airline 78 Bravo, resume navigation, direct Trent, Tango November Tango. Direct Trent, Airline. Easy 85 Romeo Juliet, when you're ready, descend flight level 200 to level by Alpha.
Domino has seen a Sobo found the bug causing CRJ 700 to behave like that, so they will fix it. Ah, very cool. Oh, Abby, Microsoft Flight Simulator uses a completely different API from past sims. There's probably a learning curve. Very good. How have you done that, Abby? You seem to have a highlighted comment. Is that because you've been a member for 12 months? Or have you signed? How has it done that? In the chat, it's all big. That's very cool.
KLM 270 London, hello.
Is that because I think it's celebrating your 12 months membership, maybe? Well, Abby, thank you for your 12 months membership. YouTube have done some things. They've changed things slightly since my last stream. There's a whole lot more new things for me to do in the background. I can also Premiere. I could do a Premiere live stream, so I can actually release a short video for you before the stream goes live now. They're slowly introducing new features, I guess, to catch up with Twitch. But yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it is for developers to keep up with all the updates and stuff.
122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
Phase, great question. I hear many ATC controllers say on conversion do this. What does that mean? So that's in relation to speed. At high altitudes like we are now, we maintain Mach numbers, speeds references of Mach. On conversion, you want to. That's when ATC wants you to make. Leaving to 360 for 200 now to be level by Alpha Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Oh, he wants to be gone. Out of the vent, top of the sensing chat, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll demonstrate it for you now, Phasian. So you can see we're currently descending at decimal 7. By default, it's converting to 284 knots. So initially, it'll maintain back decimal 77 as it follows the profile, and when it reaches 284 knots, it'll convert, because when you maintain a fixed Mach number in descent, your indicated airspeed increases as the air density increases. Gushan Kumar using X-Enviro. I'm not. Well, I haven't been advised of any delays yet into Manchester. It's a bit dark really to see any detail with the Orbex True Earth.
Here's 660 Mike, go ahead. 86 Lima Mike, time of flight level 220.
Enes Captain, do you care about how smooth the landing is with landing in real life? Yeah, a little bit, of course, but remember what Boeing say. The
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey on conversion speed 280 knots and rear.
On conversion 280 or greater, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So we can actually leave it in default because our econ speed based off cost X is 284 knots. So going on to what we're saying, Phasian, he said on conversion 280 or greater, at the moment we're planning 284 knots. So if you've got a lower cost index, you might need to adjust your speeds in the FMC to ensure that you comply with that restriction.
Radar, good evening, boarding 90 Charlie X-ray, flight level 340.
Belling 90 Charlie X-ray, under control, hello, squawk 0307, date to Alpha arrival.
0307, date to Alpha 23, right, boarding 90 Charlie X-ray.
Busy, he's busy on this frequency, that's for sure. And it's Captain, do you care about smooth landing is when landing in real life then? Yes, so as I was saying, Boeing say the criteria of safe landing is not a smooth landing, it's to be in the touchdown zone, reasonably positive. So obviously, yeah, a little bit of pride becomes bashed if I smash it down, but we do try that. However, we don't try and, let's say, butter. It's not what we're trying to do there. I did a very hard landing the other day, so landing on quite a short runway with flat 40, and it was pretty firm. Oh, thanks again, Abby.
I noticed on a video of a 737 taking off after takeoff the wheels stopped spinning suddenly. Is that a thing?
Sorry, I love it when Microsoft does that. Is that a thing? Thank you very much, Abby, not only for your 12 months membership, but for another generous donation. Thanks for $10, buddy. It's completely automated, so as soon as you select the gear up, about a couple of seconds after the gear starts retracting, the brakes are automatically applied on the main gear to stop it spinning. The reason is, if the tyres burst or popped, you don't want it spinning going into the wheel well. Hello, Chad. Because it could be fragments of rubber and parts of tyre hitting all those pipes and cables and things located in the wheel well. So it's completely automated. The brakes are applied very briefly to stop the wheel spinning as the gears just before the gear goes into the wheel well. The nose wheel though, there's no brakes, so that hits what we call snubbers, and you can hear that in the flight deck when you put the gear up. They hit the snubber and it's like this sound. That wasn't my best impression, at least, anyway. So yeah, great question. Thanks for your donation there. Oscar, speed of sound dependent on temperature? Absolutely, only based on temperature.
1.75,
just confirming maintaining flight level 260.
Oscar, that's why if you MEL a brake, you need to leave landing gear down. Why, I didn't even know you could dispatch with direct tread, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So tread, Tango November Tango. I didn't know you could dispatch with brakes involved. I guess that's one section of the discs. Tread, execute LNAV.
That was static.
So some think this is an interesting point here. It's something that always comes in real life. Now he's routed me direct to Trent. You need to confirm with ATC if he would like us level at Elvas or a beam Elvas, because obviously that's adjusted my profile there. Now, technically, because he's given me a new waypoint, new direct, the restriction no longer applies. However, in London, they typically would like you level a beam that restriction, so Elvos 200 or below. Now we're not routing to Elvos, obviously that's adjusted my profile because that Elvos restriction kept me low. Now I think in the world of Vatsim, the desktop simulator, he won't notice, but in real life it's always worthwhile checking. Right, the restriction was, you said, to be level at Elvos 200 below. Do you want me to be level at beam Elvos? And in real life they usually say, oh yes please, or sometimes disregard, depends on traffic. Joe Drage, bugger off. Well, these shortcuts are promising.
London Patrol, good day sir. Speedbird 73 with you, flight level 190.
Speedbird 73, London Patrol.
Now approaching Leicester.
KLM 270, maintain flight level 230, reaching. That's your final.
It's just down there. It's just sort of like real life. There's sort of haze and sunlight somewhere it is now. You can't see much out the window. Got my FPS are a rip. TrueF does like to suck up my CPU because I have to load it out from another hard drive.
Belling 90 Charlie X.
Robin, yes, ZIBO is being streamed by V1 Simulations at 1900. You're quite right. I saw that here. I was actually going to stream a little bit later. However, whenever V1 or 320 stream, I try my hardest to try and avoid it. Sometimes we conflict. You know, we can't all be always try and avoid each other. But yeah, I streamed a little bit earlier, so hopefully by the time I land, you guys can go jump over to V1 and see an Airbus pilot trying to 737. Jacka, would you recommend paying the extra for 1 hour experience flight over a 30-minute one? I don't know how much it's costing you. 133.8 with the speed Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Bye. Turn the music down slightly. And we'll check in with Scottish.
France 1022 Scottish Control, hello, the initial climb is 5,000 feet as published, stop climb flight level 90.
Stop climb level 90
Airline 78 Bravo, report your speed to Manchester radar 118.
Just keeping on that speed, because remember it's 280 knots or less. I'm just going to add a bit of thrust manually. It's gone to FMC speed anyway. Remember it's 280 knots or greater. He's busy.
Speed to Manchester radar 118.575.
Report speed to 118.575 from Tom
Jet 5 Kilo X-ray descent, flight level 120. Descent flight level 120,
Scottish hello, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, descending flight level 200, level, direct Trent to 80 knots or greater.
Tango Delta, contact London Control 133.
He's busy, really busy.
1237810. Look, the last station checking in, say again.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, descending flight level 200, Trent to 80 knots or greater.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, Scottish Control, hello, descent flight level 150.
So flight level 150, Alpaca 2 Mike Whiskey. 150 checked.
122, climb now, flight level 190, turn right, heading 180 degrees.
He doesn't sound very Scottish, no. Falcon's Frontier, humility, appreciation, vision, and the love of it, their virtues beyond any other. I couldn't agree with you more. Falcon's Frontier. One of my favourite ever quotes, though, by one of my favourite ever authors, is Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl's one of my favourite ever authors. I know he's a bit of a controversial figure and he was a bit naughty in his past, but as a children's writer, he was amazing. I love all his books. One of my favourite books of all time is his book about is it about a boy and going solo? Amazing books there. And one of his quotes he made, and I think it's one of the best attributes of a human, he was asked in an interview, I think it was something like, what is the most important attribute for a human? He said kindness. And it was something like, to be kind, it covers everything. If you're kind, you know, it's the number one attribute if you want to be something. And I go along those rules as well. So empathy, kindness, positivity, humility, as you said. But yeah, he was an amazing author, and all of his books are so well written. Really enjoy reading them still. His autobiography from when he was a kid and a boy and becoming an RAF pilot flying the Hurricane, amazing.
29 Kilo Bravo, you're not flying a heading as you turn right now, heading 130 degrees.
Right, we'll cycle the belts because we have around 15 minutes till landing. Oh my god, what does he fly? Crop duster or something? Hi Lars, hope you're doing well. Even ladies and gentlemen, a bit late to the party issue. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Tim Cookerman, will you try prepared again? I never did try it, only FSX, but I probably won't try prepared now.
Hello, turn right, heading 090 degrees, climb.
Also, speaking of MELs, saw 767 dispatch with one wheel missing. Fascinating. Well, I know the 73 obviously, well, you can't dispatch with a wheel missing, but it can land with one wheel missing quite safely and normally. Not that you plan to have a wheel missing, but I know a case where it has happened. Resex, Roldale's house is like a mile away from where I live in Wales. I know. I remember watching a
5 Mike Whiskey, descent flight level 120.
1,000 to go.
Descent flight level 120, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. But I didn't know you were living so.
250 knots.
250 knots, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. I didn't realise that it was so close to you though, Rex. But yeah, I remember watching a interview with Roald Dahl in his little hut at the bottom of his garden where he wrote his books.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, descent flight level 170.
So updated VNAV, tell it we want to go 250, which has put us a little bit high. So what I'm going to do is just bring the speed brake out. That's going to help me decelerate to 250 for ATC and then help us recapture our profile. Now the way the autopilot's working now with the speed brake and slowing down is quite realistic. I really like that touch. I'll be slowing down a little bit quicker than I'd expect with speed brake. Speed brake generally only makes the airplane shake a bit. It's not that effective. It is above kind of 250 knots though. You get a lot more drag from it.
120, back at 738.
Very clean wing on the NG.
756, descent flight level 140.
7140.
Lawrence, some people in your Vatsim, I swear, are flying something. Yeah, I like that guy. I don't know what he was in.
Alpaca 67 Tango.
Yeah, HMS Sequakalot, submarine unload.
Flight level 180.
280 knots, descend flight level 180, Alpaca 67 Tango, echo.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, descend flight level 100.
Descend flight level 100, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. 100.
5 Mike Whiskey, speed 220 knots.
Average speed 220 knots, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So now they're beginning to get a few delays in Manchester, slowing us down with London. I'll tell it we'd like to do 20. What's that done to our profile? Again, it's put us a little bit high on profile, and that's based on us flying 220 knots to make the 80 restriction at Dane. So we'll keep the speed brake out for now.
Yes, exactly, Mike, speed 270. 66 Lima Mike, Scottish Control, Roger. Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo, descend flight level 140, speed 250 knots. Flight level 140 and...
Alex, if you drop the gear to slow down, would you then bring it up to 235 knots again? Now, generally gear you don't use to recapture your profile. Boeing actually don't recommend that. It can be used. In fact, I actually did use the gear going into Alicante the other day. We were flying the Vilna arrival via the Arc, and we had a 45 knot tailwind at 20 mile final on profile. We already went to flap 10, and at flap 10 your maximum flap blackout speed is 210 knots. We were at flap 10 doing 180 knots, speed brake out, and the aircraft just accelerated. It just went to 180, 190, 200, got to 200 knots, like we've got to drop the gear. Because the aircraft's going to keep accelerating. So we did drop the gear. Can't do flat 15 going too fast. I can't go over 210 knots, so we dropped the gear and that helped, and then the speed came back then. But yeah, Alicante can really catch you out with the Vilna arc, the transition. Descend flight level 80, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So 80 sets, we'll stay in level change. We're almost caught up with our profile to make the 80 Dane restriction. And then we can stow the speed brake.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, you can report your speed to Manchester radar 118.575.
118.575 the speed, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, bye.
1,000 feet, QNH 1010.
There's Manchester.
105 kilo X-ray, leave Pole Hill, Papa Oscar Lima, heading 200 degrees.
So we have to enter the hold at Dane if we don't get the instructions.
Heading, leaving Pole Hill.
Do the post-cruise checks in a second, we'll just check in first. At Manchester, radar hello, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, descending flight level 80 to be level Dane, speed 220 knots.
Alpaca 5 by Messi, Manchester radar, good evening, vector in ILS approach runway 23 right, descend flight level 70 and leave Dane heading 080 degrees.
So flight level 70 after Dane, radar heading 080 degrees, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey. So that's some very delayed vectors. 080 isn't that way, but no holding at least. So 70 checked, we'll stay in level change, we'll do the post-cruise checks now. So fuel, we have 4 pumps, loads of fuel, 5 tons on board, lights coming on.
Manchester Director 121, 350,
APUs off, pressurization 3.0 set, and seat belts on, sorry, angular bank 25
Alpaca
degrees.
105, turn left heading 355.
There we are, checks complete.
Left heading 355, Alpaca 105.
There we are, there's Dane, so heading select, we're now on vectors for the approach, and whilst we're on vectors all I need to do is update the CF20 1 point, periodically, every 30 seconds or a minute or so, and that'll give VNAV some decent guidance as well. So yeah, Dan left us a little bit high on that Dane restriction, it should have been a little bit lower, so I'm just now going to go kind of vertical speed, 500 feet per minute, because we're going to try and maintain a continuous descent if we can. Don't know how many track miles we're going to get.
Alpaca 105, continue left turn heading 340 degrees.
Continue left 340 degrees, Alpaca 105.
Phasium, what's the maximum crosswind you can land on the 737? It varies by operator, Phasium, but at my operator 33 knots. For a dry and wet runway, and if the runway is contaminated based off the braking action, we have more and more limiting crosswinds. So you can see that VNAV now is not going to be that accurate if you're not on the magenta line, but if you periodically update the waypoint, it'll build a new track routing direct to it, and then when we get turned a little bit closer towards Manchester, towards north, we can update it again. Anyway, we're on vectors now for the approach. Lovely sunset, look at this. Best part of the job as a pilot, it's just cloud surfing, just sat on top of the clouds.
Contact Manchester Director 121.350, bye-bye.
Director 121.350, goodbye, Alpaca 105.
Sounds very calm.
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, range 28 miles, descend to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1010.
Descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1010, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey. So, yeah, 30 miles, so a little bit low, but that's delayed vector 3, so 5,000 feet. QNH 1010 set, passing 7,600 for 5,000 feet, standby altimeter is set. Tom, there goes V1 now, torn. Oh, V1, yeah. Guys, go check him out afterwards. Don't go yet. Hopefully by the time I've landed. Left heading 345 degrees, Alpaca 5 by Whiskey. Hopefully by the time I've landed, he hasn't taken off, but yeah. Two of the best YouTube flight streamers alive at the moment. I understand the troubles of choosing. Oscar, do you get confused with call signs when you do several sectors? Sometimes when you can get your clearance or something, you might say your old call sign, but no, it doesn't get confusing. I have it on a piece of paper, just rotate it. Every sector has a different call sign. Tom, don't forget to pop over and give us some pointers. I'm not one to do that, Tom. When I started the channel I used to, but I like to respect it's their stream, let them do it and stuff. I don't mind if they come over here and stuff, but yeah, his stream, I might do. But I think he's streamed a ZIBO before. I'm sure he's absolutely fine.
Alpaca 36 Alpha Bravo into the holder, day delay 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes, we got away with that. Are we getting straight in here?
Manchester radar, Alpaca 12 Echo, descending flight level 130, flight level 120.
Alpaca 12 Echo, Manchester radar. Hello.
Luke, have you flown to Manchester in life? I have. We got it just in time. They're just starting to...
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, contact Manchester Director 121.350, have a safe landing.
121.350, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Thank you, bye, good luck.
Cheers.
He said cheers, but I just pressed the button.
024, Shamrock 5 Alpha.
Shamrock 5 Alpha, Romeo Tower, 11865, goodbye.
11865,
Tomjet 5 Kilo Extra, continue right heading 175.
Busy. Manchester Direct Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, 5,000 feet, 345 degrees.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey Manchester, director, hello 25-ish track miles.
Gotcha. So he's probably going to send me through the localizer here. So we'll just keep it at 500 feet per minute. If we look over to our left-hand side, there's Manchester Airport.
Alpaca 105, speed 160 knots, maintain to 4 DME.
Speed 160, maintain to 4.
Zach, you said Alpaca yet in real life has said your company call sign? If not, I'm sure you will. I've been very close, Zach. I've certainly said my operator during a live stream, for sure. Whoops. But I said so many times before. It's just hilarious. I just don't choose to talk about it, that's all.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, turn left by 5 degrees, speed 180 knots.
Left by 5, new heading 340, reduce speed 180 knots, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, descend to altitude 3,500 feet.
Descend 3,500 feet, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So, bring up the up speed, and we're below 250 knots, so we can select flap 1. We want us to fly 180. And we'll go to flap 2 as well. Wow. True Earth looks amazing. Very nice. Flaps 1, we'll go to flap 2 because that just allows me to bug 180. There we are. Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, turn left heading 260 degrees, cleared ILS approach 23 right.
Left heading 260 degrees, on the heading, cleared ILS 23 right, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Excellent. Straight in. So we can just route direct to CF201 again. Oh no, not CF201, actually want the centre fix. That's the one I meant. There we are, look at that, straight onto the ILS. I'm in approach. Localizer alive, localizer glide slope capture, go flat 5, and we'll just keep it 180 for ATC. Missed approach altitudes, 3,500 feet set. Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, fully established 23 right.
Sure. Easy 85 Romeo Juliet, turn left heading 320 degrees, speed 180 knots. Sorry, say again? Turn left heading 320 degrees.
That's a lovely CDA, lovely vectors. Look at that approach, looks amazing.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, speed 160 knots, maintain to 4 DME.
160 till 4, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. This is another thing. So, a lot of airports will ask you to fly 160 till 4. Usually what that means is configuring get out flat 15, which adds a lot of drag, a lot of fuel burn, and my operator, not at every airport, but does have approval when they say 160 at 4 to fly the flat 5 speed, which in this case is 167. I'm going to do the same. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the same because there's only traffic 2.5 miles ahead. Flat 15. Yeah, this could be tight, guys. This could be tight. He is close. Yeah, this is go around territory. He's only top tip I was given when the TCAS drops below 1,000 feet. Wow, how slow is he going? 1,200. Oh, he's slowed right down. Oh no, I'm going to go to the back of it.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, contact Manchester Tower 118625.
Tower 18625, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Bye. He's I don't know what he's doing. He's flying on the stick shaker. Well, I'm doing 160 till 4.
I'll get 5 kilo X-ray Manchester Tower. Hello, continue approach 23 right.
Let's just double check that missed approach. Got plenty of fuel.
125 Manchester Tower, hold position. What position?
Manchester Tower, hello, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey ILS 23 right, just past 10 miles.
Go back brake, Alpaca 105, runway 23 right, surface wind variable 3 knots, clear to land.
This is tight.
Runway 23 right,
God, he didn't mess around, did he?
Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey, continue approach 23 right, hello.
Continue approach, Alpaca 5, Mike Whiskey. Oh no, I was going to say that Ryanair, I think he's taking off on 23 left, I think he's crossing it. I thought he just landed and I was wondering why he's vacating that way.
Correct, 5 Alpha Romeo, ground 121 display.
Go around altitude set, yep, 3,500 feet.
Ryanair 4 November Quebec, hold Victor 3, contact Manchester Tower 119 at decimal 4, bye bye.
Hold Victor 3, continue.
So just got to select landing flat. Andrea, flat runway change possibly. Yeah, we might be able to do it. If he doesn't give us late, if we can't get landing clearance, we can request to switch over 23 left. It's daytime VMC, the runway's beyond there. We'll see what happens. Would you guys like me to do a sidestep? I can request it. Not that I usually would. Well, no, it would be a very unusual request.
125 by Papa 1 cross
It's
23
ATC
right.
sort of caters those sort of things. We'll just continue for normal. Let's stay as realistic as possible.
Crossway, runway 23 right. Doesn't work.
God, a taxi here. Do not enjoy taxiing here. We'll try and vacate at Bravo Delta though, as we briefed. Yes please, request. Oh.
Panther 125 and no delay.
I'll try and do it.
Clear back.
Bad.
I have Kilo X-ray, the service winds variable 3 knots, 2 true right, clear to land.
Just left flat 30.
I'll
request it. Well, I'll ask him if he can cater it. See what he
Panther
does.
10, I've come to ground 121.85, bye bye.
Contact ground 121.85, Alpaca 105.
Panther 125.
So anyway, landing check this first, hold on. Start switches continuous, recall check, speed brake, on green light, landing it down to green, order brake is set to 3, flaps. 30 green light, holding on landing lines. Tower, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, if it's tight, happy to sidestep to 23 left.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, you'll be absolutely fine.
Thank you. ATC's in charge, so for the sakes of realism, you know, you wouldn't want to sidestep unless, I mean, it'll be much worse for us, a lot more fuel burn, track miles for taxiing as well. So ATC said it's fine, we'll carry on. Disconnecting, autopilot, auto throttle, which I've reconfigured now. Thanks, 2 tons for that bit about the auto throttle disconnect switch.
Alpaca 7-3 at LS 23 right.
So no thunderstorms.
5 Mike Whiskey, service wind variable 3 knots, 2 right, clear to land.
2 right, clear to land, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Excellent landing, checklist complete, fully stabilised, 500 feet.
Contact ground 121
checked. Oh, this isn't a midweek madness event, this is ATC being absolutely flawless. Dealing with loads of traffic checks below there.
200.
Checked. There we are, start descending again.
Minimum.
Continue. Which rate of descent there? Keep
100.
it descending.
50. 40. 30.
Check.
20.
Close.
10.
Hold the altitude. Come on.
Ooh,
nice. Speed brakes up. Reverses. Oh, we're on a bit of a butter streak now, ladies and gentlemen. 100 knots. Manual braking.
738 Manchester Tower, hello, continue approach 23 right.
Very hard braking. Oh, just about there. That was a bit too fast. In real life, I would have gone for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manchester. Oh, man. I'm just helping out ATC. Yeah, that was way too fast for high speed. Brakes now on fire, nothing to
Virgin
see.
11 Heavy behind the landing EasyJet A321 by Papa 1 cross 23 right behind.
There we go. That was a really good one, was that? Minus 60. Superb.
Virgin 11 Heavy.
So we'll vacate here to the right.
Tower, good evening, EV900
Just kind of hold
EV900
shortish here because they might want us to go on Alpha.
Landing EasyJet A321 by Foxtrot 1 cross 23 right behind.
God, it's so busy here.
Foxtrot 1 behind
God, rip FPS. Look at this little...
Alpaca 738, reduce
prop.
minimum approach speed.
So I'm just gonna...
Minimum approach speed,
might just go over to ground, he's so busy. Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey vacated.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, thank you, contact ground 121.85, bye.
12185 Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, bye. Just hold position here. Oh, my radio tuning panel's delayed.
Charlie, Alpaca 105.
105, that's stand 207. Alpaca 125, stand 207.
Busy,
Apologies,
busy.
stand 207.
Shima 5, I'm very much. Sorry, say again.
Stand 203 due to static.
Roger.
Thanks.
Manchester ground requesting taxi
busy.
towards runway 23 left, KLM 587.
Just request taxi. Look at that. 2 aircraft crossing at once there. Very cool. ground. Hello, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, vacated 23 right at Bravo Delta.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey, Manchester ground, good evening. Taxi Bravo, Delta, hold Delta 2.
Bravo Delta, hold Delta 2, Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. So, oh my goodness me, Bravo, Delta, hold Delta 2, so we need to take the second left.
5 Kilo X-ray, good evening. Taxi Alpha Bravo, hold Bravo 3. Say again? Taxi
Stand
Alpha
by.
Bravo, hold Bravo 3.
Water brake off, trim lead reset to 4 units, flight directors off.
Echo Charlie Juliet Romeo Mike, Tower 118.625,
4,100, 100 knots there. Mr. Steady. Ropes off. Star switches off.
118.625.
There we are.
Echo Mike. Bye.
So, next steps Delta, holding short of Delta 2.
Ryanair 67 Juliet X-ray, ready for push.
Following the speedy packer there, in his Airbus.
Ryanair 67 Juliet X-ray,
Amazing.
stand 45, push and start through face west.
That was a lovely approach.
Roger, face west.
A lot of Ryanairs here as well. Ryanair have a base in
to Alpaca Airways, Airbus 319, passing left to
Manchester.
right.
Got Lufthansa, they do a lot of flights here.
Delta and Papa.
This is the Aerosoft scenery, which they actually made free, which is pretty cool. For a limited time.
KLM 587, give way to Alpaca Airways, Airbus 319 from the left. Taxi Delta.
Alpaca what?
Papa, hold Papa 1, hold short 2 right.
Anyway, Delta 2, there's our clearance limit.
Right, so taxi to Delta.
Right then, so.
Papa 1, hold short 2 right, give.
How did you bind the tiller? Can only control the aircraft going left or right using the yoke. So I have it binded to my rudder pedals. You want to select it to rudder in the OPT. The twist function on my joystick is broken, so unfortunately I have to use the rudder pedals. So yeah, this doesn't have the new Manchester terminal, I don't think.
Manchester ground, Ryanair 4 Mike Yankee on stand 4 requesting push and start.
Kieran, don't trust the taxiway signage, follow charts. Aerosoft is wrong about their taxiways. Yes, because here's Delta 2 and there's absolutely
50.
no sign of Delta 2. This is Alpha 5. We'll wait there. That's right, use the navigraph there. Thank you, Pete, for the fiver.
Cheers, Captain.
Thank you, Pete. That's very kind. Thank you so much for the continued support as a member as well. Very kind of you, sir. And appreciate it. Thank you. Alpaca 5 by Whiskey, holding at Delta 2. See where they stand as it's not over yet.
Alpaca 73 Delta 3. Alpaca 73.
Oh yeah, my FPS is really
Alpha Bravo Delta.
yeah, look, 19.9.
Alpha Bravo Delta Delta 2 Alpaca 738.
So busy. Look at the amount of traffic here in Manchester this evening.
KLM 587 hold position.
Is that a new X-plane thing? Look at the effects on the ground. I've seen them before, but not like that.
Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey taxi stand 209 via Delta Echo and November Charlie.
Stand 209 via Delta Echo November Charlie. Alpaca 5 Mike Whiskey. Bit of lightning around there. That's pretty cool. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna put the weather.
5 Kilo X-ray taxi stand.
I think we got it just in time. So just cheating here. You know, we don't have the weather radar on the ground like this, but yeah, wow. That's sort of a bit random. We better taxi then. Delta 2 Echo, so Delta Echo, and it was stand. Gonna sneeze. 209.
EG85 Romeo Juliet Manchester.
Right, I can see where it is. Okay.
EG85 Romeo Juliet taxi stand 11 via Bravo and Juliet Echo.
So there's November Charlie, and there's our stand 209. So we'll do our best to navigate this without getting lost. See, on this it's not that clear. But I have my operator's charts in front of me as well, which helps. Just got to watch out for the suicidal ground crew.
KLM 587, give way to the next aircraft 737-800 from the right, so taxi Delta Papa, hold Papa 1.
So, yeah,
from the left,
watch this signage, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the left here. It's not very clear. The Suchan Airlines is holding short for us. He's a long way from home.
Ryanair 67 Juliet X-ray, ready to
So we're now on
Right,
Echo.
67 Juliet X-ray taxi, Juliet Foxtrot, hold Foxtrot 1, hold Sugar 123 right.
And then next right's November Charlie.
Juliet 2 Foxtrot, Foxtrot 1, and hold your 2 right.
Alpaca 738, hold position.
Oh, wow.
Alpaca
So
738.
busy. Great.
587,
This guy's, I cannot stress enough how lucky you guys are to have Sim in it and Vatsim and Explain. Honestly, it's like real life. I can't really differentiate. It's amazing.
Alpaca 367, Bravo, hello, taxi.
Again, it just feels like I'm at work. Seems like I was away yesterday and it's the same here.
Continue, taxi Bravo, Delta, hold Delta to Alpaca.
There's November Charlie. And then stand 209, it should be up here. I don't know how accurate these stand numbers are with the scenery. What is the worst airport to taxi, Oscar? Madrid. Barcelona is pretty good, it's large, but they've got quite a good system that works there. Then Manchester. A lot of airports they have, you know, they make it as easy as possible. Like Copenhagen, again, can be quite complex, but the way it's designed, they simplify it with having standard taxi routes. So stand 209.
Alpaca 738, give way to KLM Airbus 320 Neo from the left.
207.
Taxi stand 206 via Papa, Delta, Echo, and November Charlie.
So I'll just turn Vatsim down now, because we'll be done with him. Lights are off. And we'll make a right here. Do you have any guidance? We do. Shutdown engine number 2. Whoa! I can't see where I'm going. That's one of the limitations of a single, the life of a single pilot in a desktop simulator. There we are. Let's get ourselves lined up. So engine number 2 to cut off. Says Boeing 738. Yeah, it would have said slow down by now. Usually it bones at you if you come in this fast. Come on. Oh, there we are. Stop. Oh, it didn't go down in 0.2 increments. There we are. Parking brake is set. 2 blues, 1 red. Shutdown engine number 1. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manchester. There we are. That was a lovely flight, wasn't it? Amazing. I don't think we're going to get an air bridge though here. So some new sounds. Speaking of mods, sounds slightly different. I know they had some modifications or some things changed recently, but there we are. Perfect. Another successful flight. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. It's been a while since we streamed ZIBO. Manchester Madness, more like Manchester Calm. Very busy, but amazingly done by the controllers. I mean, we only had some slightly delayed vectors. In fact, I think we were very lucky. We were the last aircraft before they started holding at Dane, and I should think they had other arrivals coming in from the north and west if they were doing flights from Dublin as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. This version of the mod, well, I didn't even test it. It was fine. So whatever running version you're running, safely update to 349.16. Just from that test sector, looked very nice. I know ZIBO's done some under the hood fixes with VNAV and some tweaks there and stuff like that, so very, very nice. Anyway, I don't want to hold you there because there's another excellent streamer streaming the ZIBO mod V1 simulation, so I want you to go check him out. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll disconnect from Vatsim here and we'll turn the music down here. I'll just have a little read of the comments though. Pete S. Madrid is awful to navigate as a passenger too. Yeah, it does take a long time. Barcelona included. Yes, nice butter. Lots of butter emojis here. Didn't have to get you not butter emojis out there. Excellent. Flew out the new T2 terminal and said Zach, I saw that one there. Achievement unlocked. Parked at the correct stand this time. Very good, Kieran. Unbelievable. Oscar, don't forget to wiggle the door in order to release the gust light before closing the door. Unbelievable, Oscar. You're no longer welcome here. I'm only joking, Oscar. Love the pants. Right, let's turn the music down here and get the replay all sorted here and cue the funky replay music. There we are. So, oh my goodness, I bet that woke some of you up. Thanks for subscribing there, David. There we are on an X-Plane 11. I'm trying to melt my CPU on the approach there. We did overall very well. Let's have a look at the replay. Yes, a little bit too much fun for a Wednesday. Nice approach, calm conditions. And passengers have to jump onto the ramp, yes. Yeah, very nice. That was good. God, look at the effects there. Looks really cool. They changed X-Plane 11 effects there. Oh, it's frozen. That's not a good sign. It came a little bit too much for my CPU. Oh no! Don't tell me it's crashed on the replay. Oh. Application is not responding. The program may respond if you want to wait. Yeah, let's give it 2 seconds. Well, if it's going to crash at any time, this is the time we want it to crash. Oh. You got to see one, but... yeah, but to be fair, my computer was working flat out for Manchester. I don't know why. It was a combination of true earth, very soft scenery, the weather, a lot of clouds, a lot of traffic on Vatsim. It was sort of maxed out there. It realised that the view would never get better than that. I read butter, Tony. Guys, I think we'll quit it because it has. Yeah, it keeps coming up. X-Plane's not responding. It's looking dead there. Oh dear. Right, anyway, well, as ever, thank you to everyone that joined in on this live stream, to everyone that donated, thank you for your contributions, to the members, thank you for your continued support as well, and thanks for your patience whilst I'm working and not being able to be as active on Discord. I try and make a few posts every day and answer any queries I made, and I will continue to do so as well. To all my regular subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for watching. As ever, don't forget to like the video on your way out, subscribe if you're new to stay updated with the latest content. I hope to stream on one more day prior to returning back to work this weekend, possibly Saturday. It would have to be an afternoon stream, so I'm on earlies from Sunday. But as ever, stay safe. I'll keep you updated on social media where I can, and I'll see you on another Flight Deck Sim live stream very soon. Bye bye for now.
Welcome